Chapter 1694. Boom, boom, boom. Monstrous waves suddenly soared into the sky, breaking the tranquility of the sea. Such a huge movement awakened Mo Qingyun, who was cultivating in the lightning pool. He turned his head to look at the sea. As far as the eye could see, there were terrifying waves on the surface of the rolling Thunder Devil Sea. What's happening in the rolling Thunder Devil Sea? Why are there such terrifying waves? Looking at the scene in front of him, Mo Qingyun was shocked. He felt a strong sense of confusion and curiosity. Immediately, Mo Qingyun's figure flashed and rushed into the rolling Thunder Devil Sea. As soon as Mo Qingyun entered the rolling Thunder Devil Sea, he was hit by the waves and had to bear the terrifying force. What a powerful force! Mo Qingyun was even more shocked by the impact of these waves, and his curiosity grew even stronger. It must be something extraordinary to be able to cause such a terrifying movement. Soon after, Mo Qingyun braved the waves and rushed toward the source of the wave. Fortunately, Mo Qingyun's body was strong enough. Otherwise, facing the impact of these waves, his body would be crushed to pieces. Mo Qingyun was able to withstand it, but some of the underwater divines with lower cultivation levels were not so lucky. Under the impact of the waves, some of the underwater gods with weaker cultivation were directly smashed into pieces. The impact of the waves is getting stronger. It seems that I'm heading in the right direction. Mo Qingyun found that the impact of the waves was getting stronger and stronger. His guess was immediately answered. As Mo Qingyun continued to move forward, he saw many experts rushing toward the source of the wave. These people were all above the golden celestial realm. Many of them were even Tai-Xian celestial realm experts. However, as they continued to move forward, the impact of the waves became stronger and stronger. Some of the golden celestial realm experts gave up. In the end, those who continued to move forward were all quasi-Tai-Xian celestial realm expert. Golden celestial realm? When the people in front discovered Mo Qingyun's cultivation, they all revealed shocked expressions. They were shocked by Mo Qingyun's performance. They did not expect a golden celestial stage cultivator to be able to move forward against the wave. Mo Qingyun didn't care about the shock of the people around him. He continued to walk forward at a steady pace. Just like that, after a few hours, Mo Qingyun arrived at the source of the wave. This was a gigantic palace that stretched as far as the eye could see. It exuded a terrifying aura. When Mo Qingyun arrived, there was already a crowd of people standing in front of him. Each and every one of them had an excited expression on their faces. This is the sky-devouring dragon whale palace. The sky-devouring dragon whale palace that disappeared for 10 million years. So it's the heaven-devouring dragon whale palace. No wonder there's such a huge commotion. The heaven-devouring dragon whale clan is a large clan from the Primordial era. There must be treasures in his remains. Looking at the huge palace in front of them, everyone revealed greed on their faces. They did not hide it at all. When they arrived outside the sky-devouring dragon whale palace, Missouri Qingyun did not rush forward. Instead, he observed silently from the back. He knew very well that with such a huge commotion, the King Devourer would definitely come. As Mo Qingyun scanned the crowd, he quickly spotted the silhouette of the sky-devouring mermaid monarch in front of the crowd. Not only that, but Feng Si, who had chased after him previously, was also here. He had a respectful and humble expression as he stood behind the King Devourer. As expected, the King Devourer has already taken control of the Nine-Dragon Palace. Seeing this scene, Mo Qingyun's heart trembled. He had an answer to his conjecture. Just as Mo Qingyun was still in shock, 3 powerful groups of people rushed over. When these 3 groups of people arrived, they had respectful expressions on their faces as they quickly walked in front of the King Devourer. "Greetings, Master." The 3 groups of people came in front of the King Devourer and bowed to the King Devourer before walking behind the King Devourer. Looking at their actions, they should be the same as Feng Si and the others, The King Devourer's subordinates. Those three groups of people, none of them are weaker than Feng Si. Could they be from the three palaces? Seeing the strength of the three groups of people, Mo Qingyun was immediately shocked. He had a lingering thought. Could it be that not only is the Nine-Dragon Palace controlled by the King Devourer, but even the three palaces are controlled by him? As soon as this thought appeared, Mo Qingyun was scared out of his wits, causing his mood to become even heavier. It seems that I have underestimated the King Devourer, as expected of a former Saint Realm expert. Seeing this situation, Mo Qingyun's mood was suppressed. At the same time, he felt lucky and said, "Fortunately, I discovered this situation in advance. Otherwise, I might have suffered a setback." Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, while Mo Qingyun was still in shock, a loud sound was suddenly heard. Then, Mo Qingyun saw the entrance of the heaven-devouring Dragon Whale Palace being opened bit by bit. The entrance of the heaven-devouring Dragon Whale Palace is open. Everyone, quickly enter the heaven-devouring Dragon Whale Palace. I have been stuck at the half-step Taishian, immortal realm, for nearly 10,000 years. This is an opportunity for me to break through. If I can obtain a fortuitous encounter here and improve my cultivation, I will be able to break free from the control of the Nine-Dragon Palace. When everyone flew towards the heaven-devouring Dragon Whale Palace, different thoughts appeared in their minds and their expressions were filled with anticipation. Seeing everyone rushing towards the heaven-devouring Dragon Whale Palace, Missouri Qingyun did not hesitate and quickly followed behind them. Once they entered the heaven-devouring Dragon Whale Palace, a terrifying ancient aura suppressed Mo Qingyun and the others. Under the suppression of this aura, Mo Qingyun and the others frowned slightly. Their movements were restricted. After calming down, Mo Qingyun looked forward and scanned the interior of the heaven-devouring Dragon Whale Palace. "Kid, I didn't expect you to be here too." When Mo Qingyun was looking around, a gloomy voice sounded from not far away. Hearing this, Mo Qingyun was shocked and turned to look at the source of the voice. He saw Feng Si glaring at him with a gloomy face and rushing towards him. Because of Feng Si's angry shout, King Devourer and the others also noticed Mo Qingyun and rushed towards Mo Qingyun. Teleportation Gate. Seeing King Devourer and the others rushing towards him, Mo Qingyun could not care less and immediately used the teleportation gate to leave. What a joke! With so many Grand Unity Xian, Immortal Realm experts surrounding him, wouldn't he be courting death if he stayed? Moreover, King Devourer was here, so it was not a big deal for him to use the light gate martial soul. A whirlpool-like light gate instantly appeared in front of Mo Qingyun and sucked Mo Qingyun into it. With a flash of light, Mo Qingyun and the teleportation gate disappeared from everyone's senses. He actually got away. Seeing Mo Qingyun disappear, Feng Si's face darkened and he was extremely furious. With his Grand Unity Xian, Immortal Realm cultivation, he was chasing after a golden Immortal Realm cultivator, but the other party had escaped again and again. This kind of thing was too humiliating for him. This super power again. Seeing Mo Qingyun's figure disappear, King Devourer was shocked. His face gradually turned cold and he said, "I didn't expect this lad to be able to use the Gate of Fortune to such an extent. We have to get rid of him as soon as possible. Everyone, enter the heaven-devouring Dragon Whale Palace and search for that lad." Looking at the direction Mo Qingyun had escaped in, King Devourer's face darkened and he immediately ordered Feng Si and the others. Then, King Devourer's figure flashed and he swam into the heaven-devouring Dragon Whale Palace. He searched for Mo Qingyun while searching for the treasures in the heaven-devouring Dragon Whale Palace. Yes. Hearing King Devourer's order, Feng Si and the others did not dare to hesitate and immediately started searching for Mo Qingyun. On the top floor of a mechanism building in the heaven-devouring Dragon Whale Palace. Swoosh! A figure suddenly appeared. This figure was Mo Qingyun, who had escaped. That was close. Thinking back to the situation just now, Emo Qingyun's face was filled with lingering fear. Dozens of Grand Unity Xian, Immortal Realm experts, surrounded him at the same time. The scene was too terrifying. If he had been surrounded, he would have been dead. Where is this place? Emo Qingyun looked around and came out with a curious expression on her face. She began to look around the floor. When Emo Qingyun scanned his surroundings, he saw a strange mechanism all around him. What are these things? Seeing the mechanisms in front of him, Emo Qingyun was curious and he immediately pushed one of them. Suddenly, a huge projection appeared in front of Emo Qingyun. Then, Emo Qingyun saw many figures moving around in the projection. These people seemed to be the people who entered the heaven-devouring dragon whale palace. Seeing the people in the projection, Emo Qingyun was shocked and said, "Could this be the central mechanism of the heaven-devouring dragon whale palace? It can monitor the situation in the heaven-devouring dragon whale palace." When this thought appeared in Emo Qingyun's mind, his heartbeat quickened and he could not wait to test his theory. Then, Emo Qingyun controlled the mechanism in front of him and moved the projection to check the situation in the heaven-devouring dragon whale palace. Under Emo Qingyun's observation, his conjecture was verified, causing his heartbeat to accelerate uncontrollably. Just as he thought, this was the central mechanism of the heaven-devouring dragon whale palace. After checking the situation in the heaven-devouring dragon whale palace, Missouri Qingyun had a clear understanding of the distribution of the treasures in the heaven-devouring dragon whale palace. There were two great treasures in the heaven-devouring dragon whale palace, the blood-devouring inheritance and the soul-devouring inheritance. Besides these two great inheritances, there were many other inheritances in the heaven-devouring dragon whale palace. The blood-devouring inheritance is not far from here. I can go there and take a look. Emo Qingyun thought to himself. He did not hesitate and decided to go to the blood-devouring inheritance immediately. Chapter 1695. What's this? Looking at the strange scroll, Emo Qingyun curiously picked it up. When Emo Qingyun opened the strange scroll, he saw that the information of each array formation was recorded in detail on the scroll. This is the array distribution map of the heaven-devouring dragon whale palace. Discovering the origin of the strange scroll, Emo Qingyun was overjoyed. His heart was about to jump out of his chest. With this array distribution map, he would be able to move around the heaven-devouring dragon whale palace unhindered. After calming himself down, Emo Qingyun did not stay any longer and prepared to leave the building. To prevent others from coming here and obtaining information about the heaven-devouring dragon whale palace, I should destroy this place. Just as Emo Qingyun was about to leave, he suddenly had such a thought. He did not want others to come here and reap the benefit. Following that, Emo Qingyun began to attack the mechanisms in a frenzy. Only after these mechanisms were destroyed did he leave in satisfaction. This way, even if others came here, they would not be able to see the heaven-devouring dragon whale palace. Of course, the real reason Emo Qingyun did this was because he was worried that the King Devourer would come here. If the sky-devouring mermaid emperor made use of these mechanisms to constantly check his hiding place, then he would have a headache. Now that he had destroyed this place, even if the King Devourer came here, there would be no hidden dangers. I didn't expect to come to this place after using the teleportation gate to escape. I'm really lucky. Thinking about his gains this time, Emo Qingyun smiled brightly. He was overjoyed. It seems like I have to thank the King Devourer and the others. If they did not team up to deal with me, I would not have used the teleportation gate. After leaving the building, Emo Qingyun did not stop and immediately rushed to the Blood Devourer's inheritance ground. On the way to the Blood Devourer's inheritance ground, Emo Qingyun encountered many obstacles. Fortunately, he had the array distribution map of the heaven-devouring dragon whale palace, which allowed him to pass through the arrays easily. Of course, Emo Qingyun being able to pass through the array formation so easily was also related to his attainments in array Dao. If he knew nothing about array formations, Even if he had the array formation diagram in hand, it would not be easy for him to pass through the array formation. Next, Mo Qingyun headed towards the Blood Devourer's inheritance ground with familiarity. Half a month later, Mo Qingyun arrived at the Blood Devourer's inheritance grounds at full speed. Goo goo goo, a bubbling blood pool appeared in front of Mo Qingyun, emitting a terrifying aura. Looking at the blood pool before him, Mo Qingyun immediately knew that this blood pool was the legacy of the Blood Devourer. This Blood Devourer legacy isn't suitable for me, but it's quite suitable for Mo Zai to inherit. Looking at the huge pool of blood in front of him, Mo Qingyun thought for a moment and immediately made a decision. Mo Qingyun made up his mind and summoned Mo Zai without hesitation. After summoning Mo Zai, Mo Qingyun didn't waste any time with him and immediately gave him instructions. There's an ancient era's inheritance here. Go and accept it. Yes. Hearing Mo Qingyun's instructions, Mo Zai nodded and immediately jumped into the blood pool. Then, Mo Zai circulated the origin energy in his body and began to devour the blood in the blood pool. While Mo Zai was devouring the blood, Mo Qingyun stood guard at the side to prevent anyone from disturbing him. Roar! Just as Mo Zai jumped into the blood pool, a huge whale shadow flew out of the blood pool. The whale shadow flew out and entered Mo Zai's body, helping him to absorb the blood in the blood pool. As Mo Zai devoured the blood in the blood pool, the aura emanating from her body soared rapidly. Great Star Peak Early Constellation Realm. Golden Immortal Realm, Little Gold Body. Golden Immortal Realm, Great Gold Mountain. Grand Unity Mystic Immortal Realm, Tao Enlightenment Realm. Grand Unity Mystic Immortal Realm, Pregnant Path Stage. In just a few days, Mo Zai's cultivation had risen from the true Immortal Realm to the Grand Unity Mystic Immortal Realm. As expected of an ancient era's inheritance, it's not something an ordinary inheritance can compare to. Seeing this scene, Mo Qingyun could not help but sigh. His face was filled with ecstasy. Mo Zai's breakthrough to the Grand Unity Mystic Immortal Realm would be a great help to him. It made his current situation much more optimistic. At that moment, while Mo Qingyun was overjoyed, a black hole-like seed suddenly condensed above Mo Zai's head. Is this a Tao seed? Seeing the Tao seed above Mo Zai's head, Mo Qingyun's face was filled with shock. Under normal circumstances, an inheritance was only a transfer of power. He did not expect that one's cultivation level could also be transferred. Not long after, the black hole-like seed entered Mo Zai's body. After the Tao seed entered Mo Zai's body, his aura stopped increasing and he withdrew from the inheritance. Grand Unity Mystic Immortal Realm, Pregnant Path Stage. It's even higher than Ao Li's cultivation level. Although Mo Qingyun had seen Mo Zai's strength increase with his own eyes, he still found it hard to believe. Such a situation was simply too inconceivable to him. In just a few days, a true Immortal Realm person had broken through to the Grand Unity Mystic Immortal Realm. Such a cultivation speed was simply too frightening. Even an existence like the sky-devouring Mermaid Emperor might not be able to do this even if they were reincarnated. However, Mo Qingyun did not mind. He was very happy to see such a situation. To him, having a Grand Unity Mystic Immortal Realm expert by his side would give him more confidence when facing his enemies. Since the Blood Devourer inheritance has ended, it's time to head to the Soul Devourer inheritance. Seeing that Mo Qingyun had finished accepting the inheritance, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately left the Blood Devourer inheritance. After leaving the Blood Devourer inheritance, Mo Qingyun saw a familiar figure and could not help but be surprised. He had actually met Feng Si here. Kid, you're quite fast. You actually made it here. Seeing Mo Qingyun in front of him, Feng Si was surprised. He did not expect to meet Mo Qingyun here. Feng Si said in surprise. A cold smile appeared on his face as he said, Let's see where you're going to run this time. Come here obediently and accept your death. Run? The corners of Emo Qingyun's mouth curled up into a mocking smile as he said, Even if you're going to run this time, the person who's running won't be me, Emo Qingyun. After Emo Qingyun finished speaking, he quickly formed a hand seal and pointed at the sky above Feng Si. Immediately, a powerful and imposing array rune began to appear above Feng Si. In the blink of an eye, the array pattern formed a formation that enveloped Feng Si. Array pattern, formation. Seeing this scene, Feng Si's face was filled with shock and disbelief as he said, You can actually control the formation here? He had to admit that Emo Qingyun's current performance had shocked him quite a bit. Now, it seemed that the situation was not good for him, and he was in a passive position. Emo Zai, come out and fight with me. Emo Qingyun ignored Feng Si's question and immediately summoned Emo Qingyun. Then, a grand unity mysterious immortal realm pregnant path aura emanated from Emo Zai's body. Doppelganger? A pregnant path stage doppelganger? Seeing Emo Qingyun beside Emo Qingyun, Feng Si was once again shocked. The way he looked at Emo Qingyun changed greatly. A golden immortal realm kid actually has a pregnant path stage doppelganger. Looks like you should be the reincarnation of some almighty. No wonder you have so many tricks up your sleeve. While Feng Si was guessing, Emo Qingyun summoned Aoli again to fight with him. Demon God transformation. Bloodline suppression. After summoning Aoli and Emo Zai, Emo Qingyun did not waste any time with Feng Si and immediately used the demon god transformation to increase his strength. Then, Emo Qingyun's body began to change. In the blink of an eye, he became several times taller. When Emo Qingyun's body grew bigger, a terrifying bloodline suppression also emanated from his body. Kill. After using 2 superpowers in succession, Emo Qingyun's figure flashed and rushed towards Feng Si. Demon Fist, shattering Star River. When Emo Qingyun rushed towards Feng Si, he threw out a punch that exploded with a terrifying aura. A huge black fist shadow quickly formed on Emo Qingyun's fist and smashed towards Feng Si domineeringly. So strong. He's more than several times stronger than the last time. How did this kid improve so quickly? Sensing the change in Emo Qingyun's aura, Feng Si's expression changed and his heart was filled with astonishment. He really did not expect that in such a short period of time, Emo Qingyun's strength would increase so much. Although Feng Si was shocked, he did not hesitate and immediately raised his hand to block Emo Qingyun's attack. While Feng Si was blocking Emo Qingyun's attack, Emo Zai and Aoli's attacks were aimed at his chest. Seeing this, Feng Si did not dare to agree and hurriedly blocked the two's attacks. Boom! Just as Feng Si was about to block it, a terrifying thunderbolt suddenly struck his body. Being struck by the thunderbolt, Feng Si's body immediately stiffened and his movements became slower. Then, he became somewhat powerless against Emo Zai and Aoli's attack. Bang bang, because Feng Si's reaction was slower, Emo Zai and Aoli's attacks landed on his body one after another. After being hit by Emo Zai and Aoli's attacks, Feng Si immediately spat out a mouthful of blood and his face became pale. This damned brat, he can actually control the formation. After being hit by Emo Qingyun's punch, Feng Si's face was as gloomy as ink as he looked at Emo Qingyun with a sinister gaze. In his opinion, among Emo Qingyun's group of 3, the biggest threat was Emo Qingyun. Not only was Emo Qingyun's attack power not weak, but he could also control arrays to attack. This was too much of a headache. To put it bluntly, Emo Qingyun's current situation was like 2 people attacking at the same time. I must get rid of this kid first. After thinking for a while, Feng Si decided to attack Emo Qingyun first and get rid of the biggest threat. Chapter 1696. Seeing Feng Si attacking him, Emo Qingyun quickly formed hand seals and controlled the array to bombard Feng Si. Suddenly, bolts of lightning with astonishing momentum bombarded Feng Si one after another. The lightning bolt's attack speed was extremely fast, and coupled with the fact that they appeared and disappeared unpredictably, Feng Si was unable to dodge. Boom, 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 bolts of lightning bombarded Feng Si's body, greatly restricting his movements and causing his injuries to become more and more serious. As his injuries continued to worsen, Feng Si's battle strength also began to weaken. As Feng Si's battle strength weakened, the pressure on Emo Qingyun's trio was greatly reduced and their attacks became more and more fierce. Damn brat, if you have the ability, fight me head-on. Don't use the array to launch sneak attack. Hearing Feng Si's words, Emo Qingyun immediately sneered and said disdainfully to Feng Si, "You want a golden immortal to fight you head-on? Is there something wrong with your head? Soul prison." As Emo Qingyun's words fell, he did not waste any more words with Feng Si and immediately launched a soul attack on him. Following that, a terrifying soul power tyrannically bombarded Feng Si's sea of consciousness. Ah! After being bombarded by the soul power, Feng Si immediately screamed and his movements became even more sluggish. Feng Si's movements became sluggish and Aoli and Emo Zai's attacks instantly descended and bombarded him again. Bang bang bang, after being bombarded by 2 palms in succession, Feng Si's body was immediately sent flying and his face became even paler. As Feng Si was sent flying, his body slammed into the array formation before he came to a stop. Bang! Feng Si crashed into the array and immediately let out a loud sound as he was hit by a rebound force. Under the rebounding force, Feng Si was immediately flipped over and fell heavily to the ground. Puff! Feng Si fell to the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood as his aura became even weaker. Seeing Feng Si's performance, Emo Qingyun's attacks did not stop as he controlled the lightning bolts to bombard him. While Emo Qingyun was controlling the lightning, Aoli and Emo Zai attacked again, not giving Feng Si any chance to catch his breath. Next, Emo Qingyun and the other 2 cooperated and attacked Feng Si continuously. Under Emo Qingyun and the other 2's relentless attacks, Feng Si's injuries became more and more serious, and his aura became weaker and weaker. Since you're already exhausted, the battle should be over. As soon as Emo Qingyun finished speaking, a ray of light shot out from his eyes and directly struck Feng Si's head. Struck by a beam of light, Feng Si's head was instantly pierced through and his knowledge was blasted apart. Feng Si's face was filled with unwillingness as he fell to the ground. He never thought that he would die at the hands of Emo Qingyun in such a short period of time. After Emo Qingyun killed Feng Si, he quickly searched Feng Si's body for the map of the rolling Thunder Devil Sea. After searching for a while, Emo Qingyun's attention was attracted by an ancient beast skin scroll. Seeing this, Emo Qingyun took out the beast skin scroll and checked it. After checking it, a smile appeared on Emo Qingyun's face as a sense of pleasant surprise rose in his heart. This was the map of the rolling Thunder Devil Sea. With this map, it will be much easier for me to cross the rolling Thunder Devil Sea. After keeping the map of the rolling Thunder Devil Sea, Emo Qingyun searched Feng Si's body before throwing him into the Fortune mainland. After throwing Feng Si's corpse into the Fortune mainland, Emo Qingyun sent Emo Zai into the Fortune mainland before leaving the battlefield. After leaving the battlefield, Missouri Qingyun's footsteps did not stop as he immediately headed towards the Soul Devourer's inheritance. On the way to the Soul Devourer's inheritance, Emo Qingyun encountered many powerful demonic beasts, and every one of them was in the Grand Unity Profound Immortal Realm. Grand Unity Profound Immortal Realm demonic beasts. After discovering these demonic beasts' cultivation, Emo Qingyun's expression changed and an idea popped up in his mind. If I can subdue some demonic beasts, I won't be so helpless when I encounter King Devourer and the others. The moment this idea appeared in Emo Qingyun's mind, he couldn't wait any longer. Mo Zai and Aoli appeared once again and started to work together with Mo Qingyun to subdue the demonic beasts in front of them. These demonic beasts' strength was still lacking compared to Feng Si, so they were naturally no match for Emo Qingyun's group. Shortly after, under the joint attack of Emo Qingyun's group, one of the demonic beasts was easily subdued. 1, 2, 3, 4. As time passed, Emo Chingyun subdued more and more demonic beasts, and the number of demonic beasts grew bigger and bigger. Next, when Emo Chingyun led the demonic beasts forward, the demonic beasts in front of them immediately retreated upon seeing this. In the process of subduing the demonic beasts, Emo Chingyun had tasted great benefits, so he naturally wouldn't let those demonic beasts run away. Seeing those demonic beasts running away, Emo Chingyun immediately chased after them with a large group and subdued those demonic beasts. As for those demonic beasts that would rather die than submit, Emo Chingyun had no choice but to fulfill their wishes and kill them. Next, Emo Chingyun rampaged all the way to the Soul Devourer's inheritance. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed. Emo Chingyun walked straight ahead and finally arrived at the Soul Devourer's inheritance ground. He saw a fish skull. In the middle of the skull, there was a huge groove that emitted a powerful soul energy. Upon closer inspection, one could see that there was a silver-gray soul energy in the groove of the skull. Seeing the misty soul energy, Emo Chingyun's face immediately lit up with joy as he excitedly said, "This misty soul energy should be the Soul Devourer's inheritance." Seeing this, Emo Chingyun no longer hesitated and immediately released his soul energy, attempting to refine the misty soul energy. When Emo Chingyun was refining the misty soul energy, he immediately sensed a saint aura that was obstructing his refining. When such a situation occurred, Emo Chingyun's expression turned grave as he said, "This soul energy actually contains a saint aura that is repelling my Xianqing saint aura. It seems that I won't be able to inherit this inheritance." When Emo Chingyun thought of this, he was a little depressed and couldn't help but smile bitterly. He didn't expect that these two powerful inheritances were not fated to be with him. This made him very depressed. Since I can't inherit it, I can only let Emo try. Helpless, Emo Chingyun could only summon Emo and let him try to inherit the inheritance. Emo had the bloodline of the Three-Eyed Demon clan and was good at cultivating the soul. His soul energy wasn't any weaker than Emo Chingyun's. A powerful soul energy blasted out from Emo's third eye and directly entered the misty soul energy. As Emo's soul energy entered, he tried to refine the misty soul energy to raise his cultivation realm. While Emo was refining the fog-like spiritual soul power, waves of fog-like spiritual soul power were being refined and absorbed by him. Seeing this scene, Emo Chingyun immediately revealed a bitter smile. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Emo really succeeded in refining it. It seemed that this inheritance wasn't fated to be with him. What made Emo Chingyun feel fortunate was that his two clones could inherit these two powerful inheritances. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to inherit these two great inheritances in front of him. That would really make him vomit blood. Seeing that Emo could inherit the inheritances, Emo Chingyun didn't think too much about it and began to protect him. Shortly after, Emo Chingyun had several hundred demonic beasts hide in the surroundings. After making the several hundred demonic beasts hide, Emo Chingyun revealed a faint smile and waited for Emo to inherit the inheritances. Next, while Emo was inheriting the inheritances, time slowly passed. As Emo continued to receive the inheritances, the aura emitted from his body became stronger and stronger. Emo is about to condense a great star. Seeing the situation on Emo's body, Emo Chingyun immediately released Joss flames and let Emo refine them to condense a great star. Under the replenishment of a large amount of Joss flames, Emo's great star continued to condense, allowing his cultivation to advance. Great star. Constellation. In just a few hours, Emo's great star increased several times and reached a whole new level. Emo's cultivation increased to the constellation, but his cultivation didn't stop. Peak constellation. Initial golden body sculpting. Next, Emo's cultivation began to soar and soon surpassed Emo Chingyun. Seeing Mo Mo's cultivation surpass his own, Mo Qingyun frowned slightly and sighed, as expected of a Saint Realm expert's inheritance. Not only the inheritance on the physical level, even the inheritance on the soul level, has broken through the cultivation limit of the doppelganger. While Mo Qingyun was sighing in his heart, Mo Mo's cultivation was still increasing and his aura was also becoming stronger. Indestructible Golden Body Stage, Firefly Stage, Strong Soul Stage, Tao Comprehension Stage, Pregnant Tao Stage. Just like this, Mo Mo's cultivation also increased to the Pregnant Tao Stage and then slowly slowed down. A bell-shaped Tao seed began to condense in the air above Mo, giving off a powerful mysterious power. Mo Mo's cultivation is also about to enter the Pregnant Tao stage. Seeing the Tao seed above Mo Qingyun's expression changed and he became excited. While Mo Qingyun was excited, he also sighed in his heart, if I received 2 inheritances, my soul cultivation and immortal Tao cultivation would both reach the Pregnant Tao stage. If I was still in the Pregnant Tao stage, I wouldn't have to fear King Devourer. Thinking of this, Mo Qingyun couldn't help but sigh in his heart and yearn for cultivation even more. At this time, while Mo Qingyun was sighing in his heart, several figures quickly flew over. The figure in the lead was the King Devourer who had been chasing him all this time. He didn't expect him to really come here. Kid, you're quite fast. You're actually 1 step ahead of us. Seeing Mo Qingyun in front of him, the King Devourer was surprised. He didn't expect Mo Qingyun to be here. After a brief moment of surprise, the King Devourer was shocked again. His face gradually turned cold and he said angrily, "You dare to let your doppelganger receive the inheritances after seeing us come here? You've got guts. Sorry you're late." Hearing the King Devourer's words, Mo Qingyun's lips curled slightly and he responded indifferently. Chapter 1697. Kid, it seems that you've grown bolder after not seeing you for a few days. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the King Devourer's face darkened, and he reprimanded Mo Qingyun. The King Devourer scolded Mo Qingyun, and a cold smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Although you've taken the inheritance of the heaven-devouring Dragon Whale Palace, as long as I capture you, nothing else matters. As soon as the sky-devouring Mermaid King finished speaking, he looked at Mo Qingyun with a fervent gaze. At this moment, Mo Qingyun was like a precious treasure in his eyes. Hearing the King Devourer's words, Mo Qingyun's expression changed slightly. He knew why the King Devourer was chasing him so relentlessly. If he was not mistaken, he had something on him that was fatally attractive to the King Devourer. When Mo Qingyun understood this, a cold smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. He replied, "Since I was able to escape the last few times, I'll be able to leave this place again this time." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the King Devourer immediately sneered. "Kid, I was careless the last few times. Do you think it'll be the same this time?" As the King Devourer finished speaking, he formed a hand seal and pointed at the air in front of him. Immediately, an azure wave of water enveloped Mo Qingyun and the others. A boundary! I was careless this time. Seeing this scene, Mo Qingyun's expression darkened. He understood why the King Devourer was not in a hurry to act. Looking at the situation, when the King Devourer was speaking, he was secretly setting up a boundary. "King Devourer, you really think too highly of me. You actually used such a small trick to deal with me." Glancing at the boundary around them, Mo Qingyun showed a look of disdain and mocked the King Devourer. Of course, when Mo Qingyun mocked the King Devourer, he did not show any signs of panic. Now that he controlled hundreds of Tai Xian immortal realm demonic beasts, if he really fought with the King Devourer, the outcome would be uncertain. "Kid, I'll give you a chance. As long as you hand over the Gate of Fortune, I'll spare your life." The King Devourer looked as if victory was in his hands, and he made Mo Qingyun look as if he was sure he had Mo Qingyun. The Gate of Fortune? What's that? Emo Chinyan frowned when he heard the sky-devouring mermaid empress's words. He was confused. As far as he could remember, he had never obtained such a treasure. For the King Devourer to be so concerned about it, this Gate of Fortune must not be simple. Even if I have it, I can't hand it over to the King Devourer. Emo Chinyan's mind turned, and he immediately made a decision. He would rather die than hand over the Gate of Fortune to the King Devourer. He was sure that once he handed over the Gate of Fortune, the King Devourer would definitely kill him to silence him. This was easy to understand. If you obtained a heaven-defying treasure, would you want the news of it to be leaked? He probably didn't want that to happen. In that case, if the sky-devouring Mermaid King obtained the Gate of Destinies, would he and Emo Chinyan, who knew about it, still be able to continue living in this world? Kid, have you thought it through? The sky-devouring Mermaid Monarch urged Emo Chinyan impatiently when she saw that Emo Chinyan was not speaking. Hearing the King Devourer's urging, Emo Chinyan curled his lips in disdain and sneered, "Don't say that I don't have the Gate of Fortune. Even if I did, I wouldn't give it to you. You'd better give up. Kid, since you refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit, don't blame me for not giving you a chance." Seeing Emo Chinyan's attitude, the King Devourer's face darkened, and a chilling aura emanated from his body. From the looks of it, she did not want to waste her breath on Emo Chinyan, and planned to snatch it from him. "You guys, take action immediately and capture this kid." The King Devourer waved his hand and ordered the people beside him, but he was not in a hurry to take action. Hearing the King Devourer's order, more than 10 Taishian, Immortal Realm experts beside her immediately rushed towards Emo Chinyan. "You want to fight? I'm not afraid of you." Seeing the people attacking him, Emo Chinyan smiled faintly and immediately ordered the demonic beast. Roar, roar, roar! Under Emo Chinyan's order, hundreds of demonic beasts suddenly appeared and let out shocking roars. When these demonic beasts appeared, they attacked the King Devourer's subordinates in a barbaric manner. Hundreds of Taishian, Immortal Realm demonic beasts. Seeing these demonic beasts in front of them, the King Devourer's subordinates were shocked and could not help but show some panic. With so many Taishian, Immortal Realm demonic beasts, even if their cultivation was higher than the demonic beasts, they were still in a very dangerous situation. While these people were shocked, the King Devourer also frowned, and his face was instantly covered with frost. He said, "So you've hidden such a trump card. No wonder you dare to oppose me." "I'm not opposing you. I'm just protecting myself." In response to the King Devourer's words, Emo Chinyan smiled faintly and replied. Seeing Emo Chinyan's attitude, the King Devourer's face turned even uglier. He snorted coldly and said, "Humph. Don't think that you can fight me just because you've subdued some demonic beasts in the Tao comprehending and Tao conceiving stage. You're really too naive." Heavenly Wrath of the Ice Meteor. As soon as the sky-devouring Mermaid Empress finished speaking, she pointed forward and unleashed a powerful superpower. Suddenly, a gap was torn in the sky above Emo Chinyan and the others, and blue ice swords fell from it. These blue ice swords were very terrifying. The aura that they emitted was comparable to the attack of a Taishian, Immortal Realm expert. Poof, poof, poof! Under the bombardment of these blue ice swords, the bodies of the demonic beasts were pierced, leaving behind hideous wounds. More importantly, the places that were pierced by the blue ice swords quickly condensed a layer of frost, corroding the bodies of the demonic beasts. Gradually, the bodies of the demonic beasts that were bombarded by the blue ice swords began to stiffen, and they fell to the ground, motionless. Not long after, the aura of the injured demonic beasts began to weaken bit by bit, until it finally disappeared. What a powerful superpower! It contains both physical and spiritual attack. Seeing the King Devourer's move, Emo Chinyan was shocked. He was in awe of the King Devourer. After a brief moment of shock, Emo Chinyan didn't dare hesitate at all. He immediately thought of a way to counterattack. He said, "No, I can't allow the sky-devouring mermaid emperor to attack again. Otherwise, once all the demonic beasts are killed, I'll be in a bad situation." Emochinyan muttered to himself. He did not hesitate and quickly made a series of hand seals. As Emochinyan made these hand seals, the spiritual energy in the boundary immediately became violent, forming strange runes. As these runes appeared, an ancient and powerful array was formed in the boundary. Bang bang bang. When the array appeared in the boundary, he released a series of spiritual lightning bolts, which smashed into the sea of consciousness of the King Devourer. Attacked by the spiritual lightning bolts, the King Devourer immediately screamed, his face filled with pain. Then, she could no longer concentrate and could no longer use the blue ice sword. With the King Devourer no longer using the blue ice swords, the situation of the demonic beasts immediately changed. They instantly gained the upper hand in the battle. Seeing this, the King Devourer's face was filled with rage. He said darkly, "I didn't expect you to be able to control the array here. It seems that I have underestimated you. Now I can't let you live." Emochinyan ignored the King Devourer's words and focused on controlling the array to deal with the King Devourer. Faced with the constant attacks of the array, the King Devourer had nowhere to hide in the boundary. Now, it seems that she set up the boundary this time, and she had dug her own grave. "Kid, I miscalculated this time. Let's wait and see." Seeing that the situation was not right, the King Devourer quickly removed the boundary and left. Looking at the back of the King Devourer, Emochinyan's lips curled into a smile. He glanced at the array in front of him and laughed. "Fortunately, I obtained the array distribution map. Otherwise, I would have to return empty-handed against the King Devourer." Emochinyan sighed in his heart. He began to clean up the battlefield and count the losses this time. In such a short period of time, 100 demonic beasts were killed. This King Devourer is too strong. After counting the losses in this battle, Emochinyan could not help but sigh. He was even more shocked by the strength of the King Devourer. After a short moment of shock, Emochinyan's eyes lit up. A playful smile appeared on his lips. "That's right. Now that I have the protection of the array, I don't have to fear the King Devourer. Using the Light Gate Martial Soul is nothing. If I use the Soul Summoning Gate and convert the souls of the demonic beasts, wouldn't it mean that I won't die?" After thinking about this, Emochinyan immediately smiled brightly and used the Soul Summoning Gate to convert the remnant souls around him. Soul Summoning Gate. A light gate that looked like a reincarnation tunnel appeared in front of Emochinyan. After the Soul Summoning Gate was formed, it released a suction force and sucked in the remnant souls around it. After a while, ghosts of the Taishian immortal realm walked out of the Soul Summoning Gate one by one. Seeing this scene, Aoli could not help but be shocked. He was very shocked by this scene. He did not expect Emochinyan to have such a trick up his sleeve. After a few hours, there were no more ghosts coming out of the Soul Summoning Gate. Looking at these ghosts in front of him, Emochinyan smiled brightly. He was secretly delighted. Because a few of the King Devourer's subordinates had been killed, the number of ghosts he could summon now was more than the number of demonic beasts that had died. In this way, in the previous battle, not only did he not lose any of his subordinates, he even gained a few of them. If the King Devourer knew of this result, he would be so angry that he would vomit blood. Everything is settled. It's time to look for treasures elsewhere. After settling everything, Emochinyan hesitated for a moment before his figure flashed and left. Chapter 1698. Coming out of the formation, Emochinyan was not in a hurry to leave. Instead, he observed his surroundings. He was worried that the King Devourer was not too far away and was quietly hiding nearby. After observing for a while and not finding the King Devourer and the others, Emochinyan felt relieved and left. The closest treasure land to here is a place called the Sulphur Swamp. Mo Qingyun identified the location and immediately headed for the sulfur swamp without hesitation. The climate of the sulfur swamp was humid and filled with a putrid mist that could easily corrode one's mind. If some people with weaker minds breathed in the putrid mist, their soul palaces might be contaminated. The soul palaces could be considered the foundation of a cultivator. Once the soul palaces were contaminated, it was basically certain death. Gradually, some faint putrid mist began to drift in front of Mo Qingyun. Seeing the putrid mist, Mo Qingyun knew in his heart that he was heading in the right direction. After confirming that he was heading in the right direction, Mo Qingyun could not help but quicken his pace. Roar! As Mo Qingyun was moving forward, an earth-shaking beast roar came from the swamp ahead. He saw a demonic beast with 5 heads fighting with a group of people, exuding a ferocious aura. 9-headed filthy swamp dragon. Seeing the demonic beast ahead, Mo Qingyun's expression was shocked as he recognized the demonic beast's origin. Recognizing the demonic beast's origin, Mo Qingyun's expression changed as he immediately thought of a key point. This 9-headed filthy swamp dragon only has 5 heads. Under normal circumstances, it can only cultivate to the Daluo Golden Immortal stage. Now that it has broken through to the Taishian Immortal stage, it must have consumed some kind of heavenly treasure. After thinking about this, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately scanned the surroundings. As Mo Qingyun scanned the area, an inconspicuous 7-colored flower caught his attention. 7 stars heaven-returning grass. It's a treasure that can allow cultivators and demonic beasts' bloodlines to undergo atavism. It turns out that it consumed such a treasure. No wonder this 9-headed filthy pool dragon could break through to the Taishian immortal realm. After discovering the 7 stars heaven-returning grass, Mo Qingyun revealed a look of understanding, knowing the reason behind the 9-headed filthy swamp dragon's breakthrough. From the performance of this 9-headed filthy swamp dragon, although it still only has 5 heads, the strength of its bloodline should be comparable to a 7-headed existence. Mo Qingyun observed for a while, and gained a better understanding of the 9-headed filthy pool dragon's situation. Those 7 people are all at the pregnant Dao stage. This 9-headed filthy pool dragon can fight evenly with them. Although it is only at the pregnant Dao stage, its strength is comparable to a Dao nourishing Dao stage powerhouse. While they are fighting, I'll pick the 7 stars heaven-returning grass first. Looking at the 2 sides fighting in front of him, Mo Qingyun quickly flew toward the 7 stars heaven-returning grass, preparing to take advantage of the fight between the sandpiper and the clam. The 9-headed filthy pool dragon and those people were now locked in battle, and did not notice Mo Qingyun's actions. Mo Qingyun arrived near the 7 stars heaven-returning grass in a few flashes and directly picked it up. Mo Qingyun was immediately discovered by everyone when he picked up the 7 stars heaven-returning grass, which instantly caused a wave of anger. Roar! Seeing that its treasure had been stolen, the 9-headed filthy pool dragon roared angrily and rushed toward Mo Qingyun with its huge body. Although the 9-headed filthy pool dragon's body was huge, its movement speed was not slow at all. After a few runs, it arrived in front of Mo Qingyun. As the 9-headed filthy pool dragon ran, its 5 heads danced wildly, knocking over the vegetation and hills in its way. That kid picked the 7 stars heaven-returning grass. We can't let him run away. Isn't this kid the person that the mermaid's emperor wants to catch? This kid has guts. He dares to continue staying here in the face of the mermaid's emperor's pursuit. If we capture this kid and hand him over to the mermaid's emperor, we'll definitely get a lot of rewards. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, everyone's face darkened and they said angry words. Immediately, everyone chased after Mo Qingyun, looking like they wanted to cut Mo Qingyun into pieces. Seeing everyone's actions, Mo Qingyun did not run away. With an indifferent expression, he said, "With your strength, I'm afraid you're not qualified to snatch something from me." As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, He summoned the Tai mystic immortal realm ghosts and let them deal with the people in front of him. As time passed, the ghosts' cultivation would constantly decrease and weaken. It was best to let them deplete the opponent's combat strength. Mo Qingyun summoned the ghosts and let them charge at the opponent, acting as cannon fodder. It didn't take long for several ghosts to close in on the other party and engage in a fierce battle. Explode. Seeing the ghosts fighting with the opponent, Mo Qingyun ordered the ghosts to self-destruct. Boom, 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 a series of loud sounds rang out, creating a terrifying shockwave of energy. When the energy wave appeared, it enveloped these people and caused damage to their bodies. Being hit by the energy wave, everyone immediately screamed and cursed Mo Qingyun. Facing the screams and curses of the crowd, Mo Qingyun did not care at all and continued to order the ghosts to self-destruct. After making more than 10 ghosts self-destruct, Mo Qingyun stopped and looked indifferently at the energy storm in front of him. Little friend, we were wrong. Please give us a chance to change. Little friend, we don't want the 7 stars return grass anymore. Please spare us this time. Little friend, as long as you don't kill me, I'm willing to listen to your orders from now on. After being seriously injured by the ghost's self-destruction, these people begged Mo Qingyun to spare them. After being hit by the energy storm caused by more than 10 ghosts' self-destruction, these people were also scared. After a short while, the energy storm dissipated. Gradually, the figures of those people and the 9-headed filthy swamp dragon appeared in front of Mo Qingyun again. However, at this time, everyone was no longer as mighty as before. Their auras were weakened and their faces were pale. Roar. Compared to the situation of the others, the 9-headed filthy swamp dragon was much more optimistic and still showed a fierce attitude. The 9-headed filthy swamp dragon roared and charged at Mo Qingyun, intending to continue dealing with Mo Qingyun. Evil creature, you're courting death. Seeing the 9-headed filthy swamp dragon's actions, Mo Qingyun's face darkened and he charged at the 9-headed filthy swamp dragon. Soon, Mo Qingyun rushed in front of the 9-headed filthy swamp dragon and fought with it. Am I seeing things? That kid is fighting with the 9-headed filthy swamp dragon? It's too terrifying. Is this really the cultivation of the golden immortal realm? No wonder this kid is not afraid of King Devourer. This guy's potential is too terrifying. If he breaks through to the golden immortal realm, I'm afraid he'll be able to compete with King Devourer. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, everyone was horrified and they were even more afraid of Mo Qingyun. After seeing Mo Qingyun's many methods, everyone no longer had the heart to resist in front of Mo Qingyun. Now, even if Mo Qingyun was fighting with the 9-headed filthy swamp dragon, they did not dare to have the thought of running away. Of course, they did not dare to run away now, mainly because they were resisting the ghosts around them. With hundreds of ghosts surrounding them, their chances of escaping were 0. They could not take this risk. If they wanted to escape and provoked Mo Qingyun's displeasure, then the outcome would be terrible. Soul prison. After fighting with the 9-headed filthy swamp dragon for a moment, a terrifying soul power erupted from Mo Qingyun's left eye. The soul power erupted and turned into a large soul net, instantly blasting into the 9-headed filthy swamp dragon's sea of consciousness. After being hit by Mo Qingyun's soul attack, the 9-headed filthy swamp dragon's body immediately paused and its attack became a little slower. Break. When the 9-headed filthy swamp dragon's body paused, Mo Qingyun punched out domineeringly and instantly broke the 9-headed filthy swamp dragon's head. Then, everyone saw one of the 9-headed filthy swamp dragon's heads explode under Mo Qingyun's domineering attack. After blowing up one of the 9-headed filthy swamp dragon's heads, Mo Qingyun's movements did not stop at all and continued to attack the other heads. Under Mo Qingyun's old trick, in a short period of time, all 5 of the 9-headed filthy swamp dragon's heads were blown up by Mo Qingyun. With all 5 heads blown up, the 9-headed filthy swamp dragon was also killed, and its body fell to the ground with a bang. The 9-headed filthy swamp dragon was killed. This kid's strength is too terrifying, almost comparable to a Tao-nourishing powerhouse. Monster, a peerless monster, I didn't expect there to be such a monster in this world. Everyone's expression trembled as they looked at Emo Qingyun with fear in their eyes. At this moment, in their eyes, Emo Qingyun was no worse than the King Devourer. After killing the 9-headed filthy swamp dragon, Emo Qingyun turned his head to look at the crowd and said with a playful smile, "You want to submit to me?" Glancing at the crowd next to him, Emo Qingyun's eyes lit up and he immediately had a plan. The strength of these people was not weak. Basically, they were all powerhouses of the pregnant Tao stage. It would be a good result to subdue them. Of course, Emo Qingyun decided to accept these people mainly for other purposes. If he let these people be spies and help him find the people of the 3 palaces and 1 palace, it should be a good idea. At that time, he would slaughter the people of the 3 palaces and 1 palace, and these forces in the rolling thunder devil sea would become a group of dragons without a leader. At that time, everyone would be scattered into a pot of porridge, and it would be difficult for the King Devourer to control them. By the time the King Devourer regained control of them, Emo Qingyun would have already left the rolling thunder devil sea. The more Emo Qingyun thought about it, the more he felt that it was a good idea and he couldn't wait to implement it. Thinking of this, Emo Qingyun didn't talk nonsense with the crowd and directly ordered them, "Open your sea of consciousness and let me plant a soul imprint in it." Upon hearing Emo Qingyun's words, everyone looked at each other with some reluctance in their expressions. Chapter 1699. My patience is limited. Don't force me to change my mind. Emo Qingyun's expression turned cold when he saw that no one had made a decision for a long time. Killing intent surged from his body. Sensing Emo Qingyun's killing intent, everyone's expression changed, revealing a trace of panic. From the looks of it, if they didn't open their sea of consciousness and let Emo Qingyun plant a soul imprint on them, then Emo Qingyun wouldn't let them live. "We're willing to be planted with a soul imprint." Immediately, everyone stopped hesitating and expressed their willingness to accept Emo Qingyun's request. Before long, Emo Qingyun planted a soul imprint in everyone's sea of consciousness. After planting a soul imprint in everyone's sea of consciousness, Emo Qingyun smiled with satisfaction. It wouldn't be long before these 7 people played a crucial role in his plan to overthrow the 3 palaces and 1 palace. "In the battle just now, your injuries are not light. I'll send you to a place to recuperate." After checking on everyone's condition, Emo Qingyun instructed them and sent them to the Fortune mainland. After sending them to the Fortune mainland, Emo Qingyun didn't stay any longer and continued deeper into the sulfur rock swamp. This is the Great Void Immortal Root Grass. Not long after Emo Qingyun moved forward, stalks of spiritual herbs surrounded by immortal qi appeared in Emo Qingyun's line of sight. When Emo Qingyun saw these immortal herbs, his face lit up with excitement. He exclaimed, "Primordial Immortal Root Grass, it can change an ordinary person's aptitude. If we give them to our clansmen, their talent will be reborn." Currently, some of the Emo family's elders were stuck in the sovereign realm due to their cultivation talent. If they consumed the Great Void Immortal Root Grass and changed their aptitude, the situation would be completely different. 1 stalk, 2 stalks, 3 stalks, stalks of Great Void Immortal Root Grass were collected by Emo Qingyun one after another, filling Emo Qingyun's heart with joy. For him, the more primordial immortal root grass he had, the better. Emo Qingyun's action did not escape the eyes of others. It immediately attracted the attention of many people. After a while, a person at the peak of the pregnant path stage walked towards Emo Qingyun with a cold expression and said, "Boy, how about we make a deal? That's Jin Chue from the Poison Spike Devil Octopus clan. It's said that his Tao seed has already been fully formed. It's not a good thing for a kid at the golden immortal stage to have too many treasures. An ordinary man is innocent, but treasuring a jade ring will arouse the envy of others. This is a principle that has never changed. Seeing that this person was looking for trouble with Emo Qingyun, some of the people who recognized him immediately whispered to each other. Not interested. While these people were discussing, Emo Qingyun didn't even look at them. He just said a few words and left. Jean Li's face sank when he saw Emo Qingyun's attitude, and then his figure flashed and blocked Emo Qingyun's path. He said, "Kid, aren't you going to listen to my price? Perhaps you won't think that way after hearing my offer." "Oh, why don't you tell me?" Seeing that his path was blocked, Emo Qingyun wasn't in a hurry to leave. Instead, he looked at Jean Li with interest. Emo Qingyun knew very well that if he didn't teach this person a lesson, he most likely wouldn't be able to leave. More importantly, even if he left now, the others wouldn't let the matter rest. Therefore, he might as well teach this person a lesson and make an example out of him to intimidate the surrounding people. "Give me the primordial immortal root grass and I'll spare your life. How about that?" Jean Li smiled faintly and looked as if he had Emo Qingyun under control. He waited for Emo Qingyun's reply. In his opinion, if Emo Qingyun knew what was good for him, he would definitely accept his offer. Hearing Jean Li's words, Emo Qingyun smiled faintly and replied, "I'll also make a deal with you. If you leave now, I'll spare your life. How about that?" Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Jean Li's face darkened instantly. He shouted angrily, "Kid, it seems like you're refusing a toast only to drink a forfeit. If that's the case, don't blame me for being ruthless and dealing with a junior in the golden immortal stage." "Lightning arrow rain!" Jean Li shouted angrily and pointed his finger at Emo Qingyun. Black spikes shot out. When these spikes flew out, they exploded with a thunderous might, producing bolts of lightning energy. This is the innate superpower of the poisonous spike demon octopus clan. I didn't expect Jean Li to be so merciless. Jean Li's innate superpower is even more powerful than before. With Jean Li's current strength, even 3 ordinary experts in the pregnant path stage are no match for him. Seeing Jean Li's attack, everyone was shocked. They were in awe of Jean Li's strength. While everyone's faces were filled with reverence, Emo Qingyun's face remained calm as he threw a punch at the spikes. Devil Fist shattering the Star River. When Emo Qingyun punched out, it immediately emitted a demonic power and an astonishing amount of immortal spiritual energy. A huge fist shadow exploded on Emo Qingyun's fist and blocked the poisonous spikes. Clang, clang, clang. When the fist shadow hit the poisonous spikes, there was a crisp sound and the poisonous spikes fell to the ground. Seeing this scene, everyone was shocked. They were surprised by this scene. He blocked it. What kind of freak is this kid? He's only in the golden immortal stage. How could he block Jean Li's all-out attack? Illusion, this is an illusion. How could there be such a freak in the world? Everyone was in a daze. They couldn't accept this situation. He blocked it. Seeing that his all-out attack was blocked, Jean Li was shocked. He couldn't recover for a long time. While Jean Li was still in shock, Emo Qingyun's figure flashed and immediately charged towards him. Emo Qingyun came to Jean Li's side in a few flashes and punched at him. Suddenly, a terrifying spiritual energy condensed on Emo Qingyun's fist. This kid's spiritual energy is purer and more powerful than mine. Sensing Emo Qingyun's Xianqing spiritual energy, Jean Li was shocked. He couldn't believe it. Ignoring Jean Li's shock, Emo Qingyun didn't stop his attack and bombarded Jean Li. After a short moment of shock, Jean Li didn't hesitate and blocked Emo Qingyun's fist. Bang! 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 Emo Qingyun and Jean Li continued to collide with each other, creating a series of earth-shattering sounds and creating a terrifying storm of spiritual energy. As Emo Qingyun and Jean Li fought, the sky changed color and the clouds surged. It was like the end of the world. Seeing this, the surrounding people trembled. Their emotions were like the waves in the sea. This kid is on par with Jean Li. It's terrifying. Fortunately, I didn't attack just now. Otherwise, I'd be in trouble. I was thinking of following him secretly and extorting some money from him. Fortunately, I didn't do that. Some of the people who originally had evil intentions all revealed expressions of lingering fear, and a feeling of rejoicing arose in their hearts. They knew that if Jinli couldn't defeat Mo Qingyun, it was even more impossible for them. Bang! After an unknown amount of time, Mo Qingyun's fist landed on Jinli's chest, directly sending him flying. Seeing that Jinli was sent flying by Mo Qingyun, the crowd was shocked again. They didn't know how to describe their feelings. Even a powerful existence like Jinli was no match for Mo Qingyun. This was too shocking. After sending Jinli flying with a punch, Mo Qingyun didn't stop and immediately chased after Jinli. In the blink of an eye, Mo Qingyun arrived in front of Jinli and attacked him crazily. Suddenly, Mo Qingyun began to bombard Jinli with a ferocious and violent attack. Under Mo Qingyun's crazy attacks, Jinli's injuries became more serious and his breath became weaker. About a quarter of an hour had passed. Under Mo Qingyun's crazy attacks, Jinli finally couldn't hold on and was killed by Mo Qingyun. Seeing that Mo Qingyun killed Jinli, the crowd trembled and looked at him with fear. Mo Qingyun was too strange. His cultivation was only at the golden immortal stage, but his strength was comparable to a Tao nourishing stage cultivator. This was too abnormal. Is there anyone else who wants to make a deal with me? Mo Qingyun looked around and used a domineering attitude to ask for everyone's opinion. Under Mo Qingyun's gaze, the crowd panicked and unconsciously lowered their heads, not daring to look at Mo Qingyun. A bunch of trash. Seeing the crowd's performance, Mo Qingyun ridiculed. He smiled proudly and said, "Since you don't dare to make a deal, then I'll leave." As soon as Mo Qingyun's words fell, he didn't stay any longer and left. Seeing Mo Qingyun's figure disappear, the crowd's expression relaxed and felt like they had survived a disaster. That brat finally left. When he stared at me just now, I felt my heart palpitating. If I'm not mistaken, that brat's true battle strength is probably not weaker than the palace masters of the 3 palaces and 1 palace. That brat is only at the golden immortal stage, but his strength is already so strong. Who can suppress him in the future? After the crowd sighed, they dispersed and continued to look for treasures. 87 stalks, 88 stalks, 89 stalks. After Mo Qingyun left, he continued to look for treasures and collected stalks of primordial immortal root grass. Just like that, several hours passed. Mo Qingyun stopped when he saw that he couldn't find any more primordial immortal root grasses. He smiled faintly and said, "With these primordial immortal root grasses, father and mother's cultivation talent will be completely solved." After thinking about this, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and entered the Fortune mainland. After entering the Fortune mainland, Mo Qingyun immediately went to find Mo Hongtian and handed him the primordial immortal root grass. After instructing Mo Hongtian, Mo Qingyun went to look for the 7 people who were being treated to see how their injuries were. By the time Mo Qingyun found them, their injuries were already 80% healed. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun instructed them to look for the palace master and palace master of the 3 palaces and 1 palace. Chapter 1700. Next location, the Withered Soul Mountain. Recalling the topography of the sky-devouring Dragon Whale Palace, Missouri Qingyun chose a direction and headed there as fast as he could. The Withered Soul Mountain grew a spiritual herb called the 10,000 Flames Soul Heavenly Herb. After refining it, it could increase one's soul power. Mo Qingyun's battle with Jinli had spread his name far and wide. Along the way, some people recognized him and made way for him. Mo Qingyun was happy to see them do that. It could save him some trouble. The Withered Soul Mountain was not far from the Sulphur Swamp. Mo Qingyun did not take long to reach the Withered Bone Mountain. The first thing he saw was a mountain of white bones. It gave him a gloomy feeling. On top of the mountain of white bones, there were shadows of souls floating around, attacking the people on the withered bone mountain. These shadows were not strong. They were only in the true immortal realm. Therefore, their attacks only served to harass the group a little. There were many types of bones in the withered bone mountain. They did not come from the same clan. The huge bones were 1,000 meters long, while the smaller bones were only a few meters long. If my guess is right, this withered soul mountain is most likely a place where the heaven-devouring dragon whale palace stored its food. Emo Chingyun scanned the area in front of him. He was guessing the purpose of this withered bone mountain in the past. Looking at the current situation, it seemed that no one cared about it for a long time. The food had rotted and turned into a withered bone mountain. After observing the withered bone mountain, Emo Chingyun did not waste any more time. He immediately flew to the sky above the withered bone mountain. Above the withered bone mountain, Emo Chingyun saw many people searching the withered soul mountain. A kid in the golden immortal realm. How did he get in here? This kid is not simple. He was chased by the King Devourer but still managed to stay alive. The King Devourer will take care of this kid. We don't have to worry about him. Everyone glanced at Emo Chingyun. They ignored Emo Chingyun and continued to search for treasures. In their opinion, if they had the time to deal with Emo Chingyun, they might as well go look for some immortal fruits and spiritual herbs. Besides, it was better for them not to interfere in matters related to the King Devourer. Otherwise, even if they killed Emo Chingyun, they would most likely get into trouble. This was because with Emo Chingyun's golden immortal cultivation base, it was not enough for the King Devourer to pursue him relentlessly. As such, King Devourer's actions were out of the ordinary, indicating that this matter was not as simple as it seemed. Seeing that everyone was ignoring him, Emo Chingyun smiled brightly. He was very satisfied with the situation. Without anyone disturbing him, he could wholeheartedly search for the 10,000 Flames soul heavenly herb on the desolate bone mountain. In order to increase the efficiency of the search, Emo Chingyun summoned all the demon beasts and ghosts to search the withering soul mountain. Looking at the groups of demonic beasts and ghosts, everyone chose to retreat. They were unwilling to provoke the ghosts and demonic beasts. In their opinion, the strength of the ghosts and demonic beasts was not weak. There was no need to provoke them. Under the search of hundreds of demonic beasts and ghosts, Emo Chingyun soon found some 10,000 Flames soul heavenly herb. After obtaining the 10,000 Flames soul heavenly herb, Emo Chingyun did not waste any more time. He put in more effort to search for the herb. Under the search of Emo Chingyun, the demonic beasts and ghosts, stalks of 10,000 Flames soul heavenly herb entered Emo Chingyun's pocket. If I can gather 100 stalks of 10,000 Flames soul heavenly herb, I might be able to reach the Grand Unity Mystic Immortal Realm. While searching for the 10,000 Flames soul heavenly herb, Emo Chingyun thought to himself. He was looking forward to finding the 10,000 Flames soul heavenly herb. At this moment, while Emo Chingyun was searching for the 10,000 Flames soul heavenly herb, a figure flew towards him rapidly. That's the 9 Dragon Palace's 6th Palace Lord, Feng Xing. He actually came to the desolate Bone Mountain as well. The 9 Dragon Palace has issued an order to hunt down Emo Chingyun. Feng Xing must be here to deal with Emo Chingyun. It's said that Feng Xing's cultivation reached the Tao nourishing realm 200 years ago. Emo Chingyun might not be his match. Seeing the figure fly towards Emo Chingyun, some of the people who recognized him were shocked. Then, Feng Xing arrived in front of Emo Chingyun under everyone's gaze. Emo Chingyun, you've got guts. You know that we're hunting you down, but you still dare to stay here. Standing in front of Emo Chingyun, Feng Xing's expression was gloomy, as if he was looking down on him. Looking at Feng Xing, Emo Chingyun's expression was calm. He glanced at Feng Xing and said, "Didn't King Devourer and the others come? Are they too scared to show up after being defeated by me last time?" "Emo Chingyun, don't talk nonsense. How could the Empress of the Mermaids be defeated by you?" Hearing Emo Chingyun's words, Feng Xing immediately scolded him. It seemed like he didn't know what had happened last time. Feng Xing shouted at Emo Qingyun. His expression turned cold. He glared at Emo Qingyun and said, Emo Qingyun, you're just a kid at the golden celestial stage. There's no need for the Empress of the Mermaids to do anything. Feng Xing, can do it. Dragon traversing the 9 heavens. As soon as Feng Xing finished his words, he no longer hesitated and kicked towards Emo Qingyun. A dazzling golden light burst out from Feng Xing's leg and turned into 9 huge dragon shadows. 9 huge dragon shadows appeared and attacked Emo Qingyun from 9 different directions. Facing Feng Xing's attack, Emo Qingyun's expression didn't change at all. He directly attacked one of the dragon shadows. When Emo Qingyun attacked, a terrifying black fog burst out from his body. Shrouded by the black fog, Emo Qingyun's figure instantly became bigger. The aura he emitted also became stronger. Demonic Fist, shatter the Star River. As Emo Qingyun's figure became bigger, he threw out a punch towards one of the dragon shadows in front of him. A fist radiance the size of a small mountain burst out from Emo Qingyun's fist and crushed the dragon shadow in front of him. Bang! The fist radiance hit the dragon shadow, and a loud sound burst out. The dragon shadow was instantly destroyed. After destroying the dragon shadow with a punch, Emo Qingyun didn't stop. He continued to attack Feng Xing and said, Your strength is only SOSO. You're not much stronger than Feng Si, who I killed. You killed Feng Si. Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Feng Xing's expression immediately changed. The anger in his eyes became more intense. From Emo Qingyun's attack, he could faintly see that Emo Qingyun's strength wasn't weaker than his. In this case, it wasn't impossible for Emo Qingyun to say that he killed Feng Si. Thinking of this, Feng Xing's expression became even uglier. His murderous intent towards Emo Qingyun intensified. Putting aside the King Devourer's order, the fact that Emo Qingyun killed Feng Si made him unable to forgive Emo Qingyun. Do I need to lie? Emo Qingyun didn't care about Feng Xing's question. He replied indifferently and said, You don't need to be angry, because soon you'll join him in hell. As soon as Emo Qingyun finished his words, his attacks towards Feng Xing became fiercer. Under Emo Qingyun's attacks, Feng Xing's situation instantly became more worrisome. The advantage that he originally had was gradually tilted. Look, that kid is actually fighting Feng Xing to a standstill. This lad is too monstrous. Fortunately, we didn't provoke him just now. No wonder even the King Devourer couldn't kill him. His strength is so terrifying. Looks like we can't underestimate anyone in the Golden Celestial stage in the future. Seeing Emo Qingyun's performance, some people immediately put away their arrogance and became humble and low-key. They couldn't guarantee that they wouldn't meet a monstrous talent like Emo Qingyun in the future. What if they didn't take him seriously and angered him with their words? Just thinking about the consequences was enough to give them a headache. At this moment, while everyone was still in shock, a few figures flew towards them at high speed. The leader of these people was a woman with a fishtail. She was the King Devourer. King Devourer is here. That lad is in trouble now. Although this lad is on par with Feng Xing, the King Devourer and the others are probably in trouble. A golden celestial stage cultivator has made so many powerhouses attack him. He should die honorably. Seeing this scene, everyone sighed and thought that Emo Qingyun was definitely going to die. While everyone was worried about Emo Qingyun also saw the King Devourer and the others. He smiled faintly and said, I still need to search for immortal fruits and spiritual herbs. I don't have time to waste with you. Today's battle ends here. As soon as Emo Qingyun finished speaking, his figure flashed and he immediately distanced himself from Feng Xing teleportation gate. After distancing himself from Feng Xing, Emo Qingyun used the teleportation gate and disappeared in front of everyone's eyes. Seeing Emo Qingyun's figure disappear, Feng Xing immediately trembled with anger. He shouted angrily, "This damn brat has mastered such a divine ability. If we don't set up an ambush in advance, it's really hard to keep him here." Compared to Feng Xing's anger, the King Devourer was much calmer. He couldn't help but sigh, as expected of the person who owns the Gate of Fortune. He's really not easy to deal with. Even though he's only a golden celestial stage cultivator, he still has a powerful life-saving technique. "Lad, no matter how cunning you are, you can't escape from me," the King Devourer muttered to himself. Her face was cold and she was determined to kill Mo Qingyun. Swoosh! On the other side of the dry bone mountain, a figure flashed and a faint smile appeared on his face. This person was naturally Mo Qingyun. "Judging from the battle just now, with my current strength, I still can't fight against a Tao-nourishing stage cultivator." Thinking back to the battle with Feng Xing, Mo Qingyun silently analyzed and evaluated his strength. After evaluating his strength, Mo Qingyun didn't feel dispirited. Instead, a trace of expectation appeared on his face. He said, "If I refine 100 stalks of 10,000 flames soul heavenly grass and improve my soul cultivation, I might be able to fight against Feng Xing. I'll leave the collection of 10,000 flames soul heavenly grass to the demonic beasts and ghosts. I should seize the time to cultivate." Thinking that his current strength wasn't enough, Mo Qingyun didn't waste any more time and immediately started to refine the 10,000 flames soul heavenly grass. Chapter 1701. One by one, Mo Qingyun refined the 10,000 flames soul heavenly grass and tempered his soul power. As he continued to refine the 10,000 flames soul heavenly grass, Mo Qingyun's soul power also began to rise. Soon, Mo Qingyun's soul power reached the divine transformation stage. Moreover, it continued to rise toward the middle divine transformation stage, the late divine transformation stage, and the peak divine transformation stage. Of course, as Mo Qingyun's soul power increased, the 10,000 flames soul heavenly grass was also consumed. 30 stalks, 31 stalks, 32 stalks. As Mo Qingyun continued to refine the 10,000 flames soul heavenly grass, the number of 10,000 flames soul heavenly grass that was consumed increased continuously. Before long, all the 10,000 flames soul heavenly grass that Mo Qingyun had on him were used up. Fortunately, he had collected quite a number of demonic beasts and ghosts, so he did not have to stop his cultivation to search for the 10,000 flames soul heavenly grass. Time passed by slowly. As time passed, Mo Qingyun's soul power became stronger and stronger. Middle divine transformation stage. Late divine transformation stage. Peak divine transformation stage. Quasi-Tai Xian, immortal realm. Half-step Tai Xian, immortal realm. After an unknown period of time, Mo Qingyun's soul power finally reached a limit. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun stopped refining the 10,000 flames soul heavenly grass and began to break through the realm of his soul. When one's cultivation broke through to the Tai Xian immortal realm, the cultivation of the soul was similar to the cultivation of the immortal path. One had to comprehend the power of the great path and integrate it into one's soul power. At present, Mo Qingyun had already comprehended the power of several minor Daos. He could be considered to have a certain foundation. With these minor paths as a foundation, Mo Qingyun had a much easier time comprehending the power of the great path. Next, Mo Qingyun took his time to comprehend the power of the great path. The lightning pool in the rolling lightning devil sea can be considered a type of punishment. It contains a trace of the power of the great path. While Mo Qingyun was comprehending the power of the great path, he was quickly thinking about what kind of great path he should choose. After some thought, Mo Qingyun came up with a plan. He muttered, "Right now, my comprehension of the way of thunder is the deepest and most thorough. If I comprehend the power of the way of thunder punishment, it should be the smoothest." When Mo Qingyun thought of this, He no longer hesitated and began to recall the energy within the lightning pool. Time slowly passed. Streaks of terrifying lightning arcs gathered outside Mo Qingyun's body, forming a constantly swimming lightning dragon. If someone came here now and saw Mo Qingyun's appearance, they would definitely be dumbfounded. This kind of terrifying power was not something that a golden immortal could control. No, it's still a little bit off. What's going on? When Mo Qingyun reached the final step of comprehending the power of the great Tao of thunder punishment, his progress came to a halt. This situation gave Mo Qingyun a headache. He didn't know what the problem was. Since he had already reached the final step, no matter how difficult or troublesome it was, he wouldn't allow it to go to waste. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, while Mo Qingyun was having a headache, streaks of lightning gathered above the Fortune mainland. This situation attracted Mo Qingyun's attention, causing him to withdraw from his cultivation. After Mo Qingyun withdrew from his cultivation, a curious look appeared on his face as he looked towards the source of the sound. He saw a heaven realm cultivator trying to break through to the heavenly immortal realm. Tribulation, lightning punishment? Looking at the scene before him, Mo Qingyun's expression changed. He immediately understood. There was a kind of order between heaven and earth that maintained the balance between heaven and earth. If anyone wanted to break this order, they would be going against the heavens and would be punished by the heavens. This was the lightning punishment. So, the lightning punishment is not a human's force, but a kind of origin force of heaven and earth. The more Mo Qingyun thought about it, the more his understanding of the lightning punishment deepened. Suddenly, his eyes lit up as he said, "Oh right, in the Fortune mainland, I am a godlike existence. Now that this lightning punishment has appeared, it is equivalent to my will. Can I observe it to improve my understanding of the lightning punishment?" After thinking about it, Mo Qingyun decided to observe the tribulation lightning to improve his understanding of the lightning punishment. Boom! A bolt of tribulation lightning descended and landed on the person undergoing the tribulation, causing him to spit out blood in an instant. Seeing that he had survived the tribulation, the cultivator's face lit up with joy, thinking that he had successfully broken through. Not only the cultivator, but the surrounding spectators were also overjoyed. But what puzzled them was that the tribulation lightning had already struck, but the tribulation clouds showed no signs of dissipating. "I can't see clearly, let's do it again." Mo Qingyun frowned slightly. He controlled the Fortune mainland with his will and sent another bolt of tribulation lightning to the cultivator. Seeing the second bolt of tribulation lightning, the cultivator's face trembled and he roared, "What the f***ck, what's going on? Isn't there only one tribulation lightning? Why do I have two lightning tribulations?" Boom! Before the cultivator could finish his words, another bolt of tribulation lightning smashed into his body, sending him sprawling on the ground. However, before he could get up, another bolt of tribulation lightning struck. Boom, boom, boom. Then, bolt after bolt of tribulation lightning struck the cultivator's body. Fortunately, the tribulation lightning's power was not strong, only causing him light injuries. Otherwise, even if he was a great firmament immortal, he would not be able to withstand so many tribulation lightning strike. Heavens, are you trying to play me to death? Thinking that others only had to face one tribulation lightning, but he had to face more than 100 bolts of tribulation lightning, the cultivator wanted to die. This was too much of a bully. Although the tribulation lightning later on wasn't very powerful, it was still very painful when it struck his body. It was also constantly worsening his injuries. Besides, who would like to be whipped? Moreover, it was being struck by lightning. It's about time. After more than 100 bolts of tribulation lightning, Mo Qingyun revealed a satisfied smile. He had finally comprehended the power of tribulation lightning. At this moment, Mo Qingyun couldn't help but rejoice. Fortunately, someone was undergoing tribulation at this time. Otherwise, if he wanted to comprehend the power of tribulation lightning, he would need at least a few more months. I've wronged you this time. Looking at the cultivator undergoing tribulation, Mo Qingyun's lips curved into a faint smile, and he felt a little apologetic in his heart. Because of his cultivation, the cultivator had suffered an unexpected calamity and was struck by lightning more than 100 times for no reason. Since you helped me with my cultivation, I will bestow upon you some fortune. Glancing at the cultivator undergoing tribulation, Mo Qingyun revealed a faint smile and formed a projection in midair. I am currently cultivating the laws of tribulation lightning. You helped me adjust the power of tribulation lightning, which is a great help to me. Now I will give you some rewards. As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he sent over some spirit herbs, immortal fruits, and some decent spirit pills and medicines. Cultivate the laws of tribulation lightning. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the cultivator was scared half to death. He was both shocked and overjoyed. He was shocked because there was such a terrifying existence in this world. What made him happy was that he had stumbled upon such a great fortune. After giving the cultivator some cultivation resources and healing all his injuries, Mo Qingyun ignored him. Mo Qingyun didn't know that because of his unintentional actions, the cultivator's body was tempered. From then on, he was invincible in the Fortune mainland and was hailed as the god of war by the people of the Fortune mainland. Of course, Mo Qingyun wasn't in the mood to care about such things. After comprehending the power of tribulation lightning, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately began to break through the realm of soul. In his sea of consciousness, a miniature version of Mo Qingyun was sitting cross-legged on a golden lotus, floating in the endless sea of consciousness. All of a sudden, streaks of lightning energy appeared above the soul sea. The lightning energy appeared because it merged with the sea of consciousness and seeped into the sea of consciousness. Chi. As the lightning energy seeped into the sea of consciousness, it emitted ear-piercing sounds and a terrifying power. Seeing this scene, the primordial spirit in the sea of consciousness was shocked and exclaimed, "The power of tribulation lightning is so strong. Even a Tao-nourishing expert would be half dead under the bombardment of such power." Thinking of this, Mo Qingyun calmed his mind and focused on merging the power of tribulation lightning with his sea of consciousness. After an unknown amount of time, under Mo Qingyun's continuous efforts, the power of tribulation lightning finally merged with his sea of consciousness. Boom! As the power of tribulation lightning merged with his sea of consciousness, a terrifying aura suddenly erupted from Mo Qingyun's body. Mo Qingyun's soul cultivation had broken through and reached the grand unity mysterious immortal realm. I broke through. Realizing that his soul cultivation had broken through, Mo Qingyun's face immediately lit up and he became excited. This way, if he met Feng Xing and the others again, he would have the ability to fight them. Since his soul cultivation had broken through to the grand unity mysterious immortal realm, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately stabilized his cultivation. After about 3 days, Mo Qingyun exited from his cultivation. After 3 days of cultivation, his cultivation had completely stabilized. Since my cultivation has stabilized, I should go to the next location. It's time to go to the next treasure land. After making up his mind, Mo Qingyun's figure flashed and he left the Fortune mainland. After Mo Qingyun left the Fortune mainland, he gathered the ghosts and demonic beasts and prepared to send them to the Fortune mainland. Not long after, the ghosts and demonic beasts returned with some 10,000 flames soul heavenly grass. Although Mo Qingyun had broken through to the grand unity mysterious immortal realm and the 10,000 flames soul heavenly grass wasn't very useful to him, it was still very useful to others. Fire soul heavenly valley. Mo Qingyun thought for a moment and thought of the next location. The fire soul heavenly soul was a strange flame that contained a strange flame. This flame was extremely dangerous and terrifying. Even a golden immortal realm expert would be incinerated if they came into contact with it. However, in the Fire Soul Heavenly Valley, there was a kind of fallen flame Chilan tree that bore a kind of spiritual fruit called the fallen flame Chilan fruit. It was said that refining this kind of spiritual fruit could temper and transform one's soul. Chapter 1702. Tang Bairan is in the Fire Spirit Heavenly Valley. As Mo Qingyun headed towards the Fire Spirit Heavenly Valley, he felt a soul sense coming from the direction of the Fire Spirit Heavenly Valley. As soon as the soul sense appeared, Mo Qingyun immediately knew who it was. A trace of surprise appeared on his face. Master, Feng Xing is in the Fire Spirit Heavenly Valley. He's about to enter the Fire Spirit Heavenly Valley. When Mo Qingyun found Tang Bairan transmitted a message to him, reporting Feng Xing's current whereabouts. Hearing Tang Bairan's report, Mo Qingyun's expression changed. A playful smile appeared on his face as he said, Feng Xing, we didn't have a clear winner last time. Now that I've just broken through, I'm worried about finding someone to test my cultivation. Let's use you as a sparring partner then. Mo Qingyun muttered to himself. He increased his flying speed and rushed towards the Fire Spirit Heavenly Valley. About an hour later, Mo Qingyun arrived outside the Fire Spirit Heavenly Valley at full speed. When Mo Qingyun arrived at the Fire Spirit Heavenly Valley, he saw many people looking at the Fire Spirit Heavenly Valley nervously. The interior of the Fire Spirit Heavenly Valley was filled with a terrifying flame, causing people to shrink back in fear. With Mo Qingyun's powerful vision, he could vaguely see that there was a huge flame tree growing inside the Fire Spirit Heavenly Valley. On the top of the flame tree, there were a few red fruits that emitted a strong fluctuation of spiritual energy. If he was not wrong, this should be the fallen flame Chilan tree. Looking at the fallen flame Chilan tree, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately walked into the Fire Spirit Heavenly Valley. Mo Qingyun walked for a while and saw Tang Bairan. He nodded to him. Seeing Mo Qingyun's signal, Tang Bairan did not walk towards Mo Qingyun. He continued to stay in the crowd. He knew that Mo Qingyun did this for his safety. Just like how he was enraged, given the King Devourer's hatred for Mo Qingyun, there was no way he would let him live. As Mo Qingyun went deeper into the Fire Spirit Heaven Valley, the heat wave in the Fire Spirit Heaven Valley became more and more intense. What surprised Mo Qingyun the most was that the flame energy in the Fire Spirit Heavenly Valley could actually burn the sea of consciousness and soul. This Fire Spirit Heavenly Valley is indeed strange. Upon discovering this, Mo Qingyun was shocked. He did not expect this to happen. In this way, the difficulty of venturing deeper into the Fire Spirit Heaven Valley had increased by many times. However, since he had seen the fallen flame Chilan tree, Mo Qingyun would not give up so easily. Just as Mo Qingyun was walking forward, a blood-curdling scream rang out from up ahead. A pregnant Dao realm cultivator let out a miserable cry before her body was burned by a flame. When everyone's body was burned, his soul was also burned. This showed how terrifying the flame energy in the Fire Spirit Heavenly Valley was. Upon discovering the terrifying flame energy in the Fire Spirit Heavenly Valley, some of the weaker cultivators stopped in their track. Although the fallen flame Chilan fruit was precious, it was insignificant compared to their lives. If they lost their lives, what was the point of having the fallen flame Chilan fruit? As Mo Qingyun continued to move forward, he discovered a simple pattern. He discovered that the flame energy would multiply for every 1,000 meters he moved forward. I am about 20,000 meters away from the fallen flame Chilan tree. Looking at the distance between himself and the fallen flame Chilan tree, Mo Qingyun frowned and muttered, "It seems that the flame energy in the Fire Spirit Heavenly Valley will increase by 20 times when I am near the fallen flame Chilan tree." Thinking of this, Mo Qingyun's heart sank. The more he reached the limit, the more the flame energy would double and the lethality would increase as well. This increase was not as simple as 1 plus 1. Kid, you're here again. While Mo Qingyun was pondering, Feng Xing discovered him and immediately shouted at him. After Feng Xing shouted at Mo Qingyun, he did not waste time talking nonsense with Mo Qingyun and directly charged at Mo Qingyun. Seeing Feng Xing charging at Mo Qingyun, the surrounding people were shocked and hurriedly retreated. They were very clear about Feng Xing's identity. He was the 6th palace master of the 9-dragon palace. They did not want to get involved in the dispute between Mo Qingyun and Feng Xing and bring disaster to themselves. Seeing Feng Xing charging at him, Mo Qingyun's expression did not change at all. He was still as indifferent as before. The last time he fought with Feng Xing, he was not at a disadvantage at all. This time, his soul realm had increased greatly. It was hard to say who would win. Soul Light. Facing Feng Xing's attack, Mo Qingyun's left eye flashed with a silver light and blasted out a lightning soul power. The lightning soul power blasted out and turned into a silver spear, instantly piercing into Feng Xing's sea of consciousness. Boom! Being hit by Mo Qingyun's soul attack, Feng Xing's body immediately stopped flying. At this moment, he felt a terrifying muffled sound in his sea of consciousness. This feeling was like being struck by lightning, and his sea of consciousness was about to explode. Although his sea of consciousness was dizzy, Feng Xing was a path-nourishing expert after all. He quickly suppressed the soul attack in his sea of consciousness. I didn't expect your soul cultivation to be so strong in just a few days. After suppressing the soul attack in his sea of consciousness, Feng Xing's face was gloomy. He glared at Mo Qingyun and shouted, "It seems that you have had a great adventure during this time." "Not bad." Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and didn't deny it. He looked at Feng Xing with cold eyes and said, "Last time, because of King Devourer and the others, we couldn't continue the battle. Today let's end it." As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he didn't hesitate anymore and immediately attacked Feng Xing. Mo Qingyun's figure flashed and directly appeared in front of Feng Xing. He punched out toward Feng Xing Demon Fist, shattering Star River. Mo Qingyun punched out. Immediately, a burst of immortal spiritual power burst out and formed a huge fist. As soon as the fist was formed, it smashed toward Feng Xing with an unstoppable force. Seeing the huge fist coming toward him, Feng Xing's face darkened. He snorted and said, "Kid, if you have the ability, let's fight. Don't run away when you see the situation is not good." As soon as Feng Xing finished speaking, he kicked forward and a golden light burst out from his leg. Dragon travels 10,000 miles. A huge golden dragon shadow burst out from Feng Xing's leg and blasted toward the fist in front of him. The dragon shadow and the fist collided and immediately produced a dazzling golden light, forming a terrifying wave of spiritual power. Under the impact of this wave of spiritual power, some of the weaker people around were instantly swallowed by the wave of spiritual power. Under the impact of the wave of spiritual power, these people couldn't resist the flames in the valley and were instantly burned by the flames. Chapter 1703. When the others were leaving, Mo Qingyun's eyes lit up as he had an idea. Mo Qingyun thought to himself, "The power of fire in the fire spirit heavenly valley is harmful to the soul. Feng Xing's soul power is not as strong as mine. Maybe I can use the power of fire in the valley to suppress his strength." As soon as this idea popped up in his mind, Mo Qingyun's body flashed as he rushed into the fire spirit heavenly valley. "Kid, don't even think about running away this time." Seeing Mo Qingyun running into the fire spirit heavenly valley, Feng Xing instinctively thought that Mo Qingyun was going to run away again. Then, Feng Xing turned into a golden light and followed Mo Qingyun. As he went deeper into the fire spirit heavenly valley, Feng Xing showed a painful expression as he sensed the erosion of the power of fire. Under the erosion of the power of fire, his strength was greatly restricted. He had to spare some of his attention to resist the power of fire. This kid is only at the golden celestial stage. Why can't he feel the power of fire in the valley? Seeing Emo Qingyun's performance, Feng Xing was shocked. He couldn't understand what was going on. Logically speaking, with Emo Qingyun's cultivation, he should have been burned to ashes long ago when faced with this kind of terrifying flame energy. However, not only was Emo Qingyun not burned into ashes, but his endurance was even stronger than Feng Xing's. This was a little too abnormal. Looking at Feng Xing, who was following him, Emo Qingyun showed a faint smile. His eyes were full of sarcasm. It seemed that his idea was right. Under the erosion of the power of fire, Feng Xing felt a great pressure and couldn't use all of his strength. Emo Qingyun flew for a while longer. Seeing that Feng Xing couldn't bear it anymore, he stopped. He had a feeling that if he continued to go deeper, Feng Xing might just retreat. Seeing Emo Qingyun stop, Feng Xing showed a vicious look and said coldly, "Kid, why don't you keep running? Can't you bear the power of fire?" In Feng Xing's opinion, Emo Qingyun must have stopped because he couldn't bear the erosion of the power of fire. "Sorry, you're wrong." Hearing Feng Xing's words, Emo Qingyun smiled faintly and said, "In my opinion, you should be the one who can't withstand the erosion of the fire power. Brat, you don't look down on me." Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Feng Xing's face twitched and his face turned red. Emo Qingyun's words were true. The current him was almost unable to withstand the corrosion of the flame energy. If Emo Qingyun continued to move forward, he would choose to retreat and guard the exit of the Fire Spirit Heavenly Valley. Although that was what he thought, Feng Xing still wouldn't admit it after being exposed by Emo Qingyun. To him, if he admitted to such a thing, he would lose all his face. "If that's the case, I'll play with you." Seeing that Feng Xing refused to admit his mistake, Emo Qingyun didn't want to waste time talking to him. Instead, he immediately launched a soul attack. Soul Ray. Emo Qingyun's left eye flashed with a sharp light, and a powerful soul power blasted out and instantly bombarded Feng Xing's sea of consciousness. Being hit by Emo Qingyun's soul attack, Feng Xing immediately screamed, and his face turned pale. Bang! 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 As Feng Xing let out a miserable shriek, his body was set ablaze by the flame, and was burned by the overbearing flame. In just a short moment, one of Feng Xing's arms was burned black, like a stick. "My left arm." With one of his arms burned, Feng Xing couldn't help but scream, and immediately retreated. He clearly knew that the flame energy in the valley suppressed his strength, and he couldn't fight with Emo Qingyun. "You want to leave now? It's too late." Seeing Feng Xing's action, Emo Qingyun slightly curled up the corner of his mouth, and a teasing look appeared in his eyes. It wasn't easy for him to trick Feng Xing to come here. How could he let him escape so easily? Emo Qingyun's body flashed, and he immediately appeared in front of Feng Xing, blocking his way. "Not good, I've been tricked." Seeing Emo Qingyun's action, how could Feng Xing not know that he was tricked by Emo Qingyun? Emo Qingyun tricked him into entering the valley, obviously to use the flame energy in the valley to suppress his strength. Although he didn't know why, Emo Qingyun wasn't afraid of the flame energy in the valley at all. But looking at the current situation, he was indeed tricked, and fell into Emo Qingyun's trap. Damn it, this kid's soul power is actually stronger than mine. Thinking of the gap between his soul power and Emo Qingyun's, Feng Xing suddenly felt a sense of unwillingness. He was a Tao-nourishing expert, but he actually lost to a golden immortal in a competition of soul power. Although he was very unwilling, Feng Xing had to admit this point. Devil Fist shattering Star River. Emo Qingyun blocked Feng Xing's way, and without hesitation, he threw out a punch, which exploded with terrifying immortal spiritual energy. The immortal spiritual energy crazily gathered, and in the blink of an eye, it turned into a huge fist, blocking the entire path of the valley. Seeing that his path was blocked, Feng Xing was so angry that his teeth itched. This move of Emo Qingyun's was too ruthless. In this way, if he wanted to leave, he would have to defeat Emo Qingyun's punch. But once he attacked, he wouldn't be able to resist the flame energy in the valley. At this moment, he was in a dilemma. After a short moment of silence, Feng Xing took a step forward, and a shocking aura burst out. Although he knew that by doing so, he wouldn't be able to resist the surrounding flame energy, he had no other choice. If he didn't counterattack, once he was hit by Emo Qingyun's fist, he would really die here. Dragon steps on the 7 stars. Feng Xing took a step forward and golden light burst out, turning into golden stars. 7 stars were formed, and they shone with a dazzling light, which blasted toward the huge black fist shadow. Bang! 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 The 7 golden stars blasted on the huge black fist, and immediately exploded with a loud bang. Then, cracks appeared on the huge black fist, and it shattered under the attack of the 7 stars. After neutralizing Emo Qingyun's attack, Feng Xing's expression relaxed a little, and he focused on resisting the corrosive flame energy. However, before Feng Xing could relax a little, Emo Qingyun's attack came again. Soul Prison. A terrifying soul energy burst out from Emo Qingyun's left eye and blasted into Feng Xing's mind. The soul energy blasted into Feng Xing's mind, and it emitted a horrifying thunder power, which bombarded Feng Xing's mind. In just a short moment, under the impact of the soul energy, cracks appeared in Feng Xing's mind. Not only that, but under the confinement of the soul energy, Feng Xing's mind was also trapped. Without his mind controlling his body, Feng Xing's resistance to the flame energy weakened a little. Not long after, flames ignited on his body again, burning his body. Under the burning of the flame, Feng Xing's body disappeared little by little, and slowly turned into a pile of ashes. No, no. Realizing that his body was burned out, Feng Xing's soul roared out in rage, but it was useless. At the moment, he was like a fish on the chopping board, and Emo Qingyun could do whatever he wanted to him. Ignoring Feng Xing's screams, Emo Qingyun's expression didn't change, and he kept attacking Feng Xing's soul beam. Emo Qingyun's left eye flashed again, and a powerful soul beam was blasted out, aiming at Feng Xing's soul. Looking at the soul beam, Feng Xing was really scared. He immediately begged for mercy. Little brother, let's talk nicely. Can you give me a chance to make it up to you? Emo Qingyun turned a deaf ear to Feng Xing's words, and he didn't stop attacking. Puff! Under the bombardment of the soul beam, Feng Xing's soul was instantly shattered, and it disappeared between heaven and earth. After destroying Feng Xing's soul, Emo Qingyun frowned slightly, and said in a deep voice, "Judging from the battle just now, with my current soul realm, an ordinary Taishian immortal expert is no longer my match. However, it's still a little troublesome to kill someone like Feng Xing. Besides, with my current cultivation, it's still not enough to deal with a Taishian immortal expert." After summing up the battle just now, Emo Qingyun had a clearer understanding of his strength, and he said, "Also, the grade of my divine powers and immortal techniques is far from enough. I need to learn more powerful divine powers and immortal technique." In just a short while, Emo Qingyun had a clear direction for his cultivation. Emo Qingyun thought for a while, and then his figure flashed, and he flew into the Fire Spirit Heaven Valley. "That guy is so strong, even Feng Xing was killed by him. He's really monstrous. His true strength is probably comparable to an expert in the Dao Qing stage. No, the reason why he could kill Feng Xing should be because of the flame energy in the valley. Even so, his true combat strength is comparable to an expert in the Dao nourishing stage." Seeing Emo Qingyun's battle, everyone was shocked, and they couldn't help but sigh with emotion. After sighing with emotion, they no longer hesitated and flew into the valley. When everyone entered the Fire Spirit Heaven Valley, Emo Qingyun came to a stop 1,000 meters away from the fallen flame Qilin tree. At this moment, the endurance of his soul and body had reached a limit. If he continued to move forward, his divine soul might be burned to ashes by the flame energy in the valley. This was not an outcome that Emo Qingyun was willing to accept. Therefore, he slowed down a little to adapt to the flame energy, and continued to move forward. Then, Emo Qingyun sat cross-legged on the ground, and felt the flame energy in the valley. Under Emo Qingyun's comprehension, he suddenly discovered that the flame energy contained a strand of Tao might. In that case, it would appear that this flame energy contains the power of the great Tao. Feeling the Tao might in the flame energy, Emo Qingyun was shocked, and a thought came to his mind: if I feel the Tao might in the flame energy, will it help me to understand the Tao might of the flame Tao? Chapter 1704. As Emo Qingyun comprehended the power of fire in the valley gathered towards him. The power of fire gathered from all around and turned into a huge fire-light shield, enveloping Emo Qingyun. Seeing this scene, the other people in the valley all revealed shocked expressions. The power of fire that they wanted to avoid was gathered around Emo Qingyun, as if he was using it to cultivate. Using the power of fire to cultivate. Does this kid want to die? For this kid to be able to cultivate like this, his cultivation path in the past must be very abnormal. It's hard to imagine that he could survive until now with such an abnormal method of cultivation. Looking at Emo Qingyun in front of them, the crowd moved away from him, their faces filled with awe. They had no choice but to move away. The power of fire around Emo Qingyun was several times stronger than the surrounding area. Even if Emo Qingyun could withstand it, it didn't mean that they couldn't. If they got too close and were touched by the flames, it was very likely that they would be burned to ashes. Under the crowd's awe, Emo Qingyun immersed himself in comprehending and didn't care about the shock of the people around him. As time passed, the power of fire gathered around Emo Qingyun's body increased. Gradually, even the path into the valley was blocked by the power of fire outside Emo Qingyun's body. Seeing this, although the crowd was angry, no one dared to disturb Emo Qingyun. Even Feng Xing was killed by Emo Qingyun. If they went to disturb Emo Qingyun, wouldn't they be tired of living? Helpless, the crowd could only stay where they were and watch Emo Qingyun cultivate in silence. Time passed slowly. After an unknown amount of time, the power of fire outside Emo Qingyun's body dissipated slowly. As the power of fire dispersed, Emo Qingyun, who was in the fire-light shield, appeared in front of the crowd again. What a pity! Emo Qingyun withdrew from his cultivation. He sighed regretfully and said, "It looks like comprehending the power of laws isn't that simple. I need to take it step by step." When Emo Qingyun discovered that he had failed to comprehend the power of the great Tao, he could not help feeling disappointed. He knew that he had been too naive. Although he had failed to comprehend the power of the great Tao, Emo Qingyun had gained something after several days of comprehension. During the past few days, Emo Qingyun had managed to comprehend some minor daos of fire. This could be considered as laying down a foundation for his future cultivation. Although I haven't comprehended the grand way of fire, the power of fire in this valley no longer affects me. Emo Qingyun smiled faintly and walked towards the inner part of the valley, ready to pick the meteorite flame Qilin fruit. Emo Qingyun did not pay any attention to the people following behind him, as if they did not exist. With the protection of the fire energy in the valley, it would not be easy for them to fight for the meteorite flame Qilin fruit. That punk is close to the meteorite flame Qilin tree. He can actually ignore the fire energy in the valley. If that's the case, won't all the meteorite flame Qilin fruits be taken away by him? Everyone, don't be anxious. Even if he gets the meteorite flame Qilin fruit, he still has to leave through the valley. That's right, we'll guard the valley's exit. Where can he escape to? When everyone thought of this, they immediately sneered and slowly retreated. Emo Qingyun did not put these people's actions to heart. He walked towards the meteorite flame Qilin tree at a leisurely pace. If these people failed to appreciate his kindness, he wouldn't mind releasing the ghost creatures and demonic beasts to annihilate them all. A short while later, Mo Qingyun arrived in front of the meteorite flame Qilin tree. There was a contemplative look on his face as he looked at the tree. The current Fortune mainland is almost the same as the Heavenly Soul mainland. I can plant some spiritual trees here. At this moment, a bold idea appeared in Mo Qingyun's mind. If I transplant this meteorite flame Qilin tree to the Fortune mainland, I wonder what kind of scenery it will be. As Mo Qingyun thought of this, his heartbeat quickened. He felt that this method was feasible. If there were no accidents, with the help of some spiritual trees, the Fortune mainland's spiritual energy would become richer. Rise. With this thought in mind, Mo Qingyun formed a hand seal and pointed at the meteorite flame Qilin tree. Then, the meteorite flame Qilin tree was slowly pulled out from the ground by him. What is that punk trying to do? Is he planning to destroy the meteorite flame Qilin tree? That punk is too ruthless. He won't even let the meteorite flame Qilin tree go. The meteorite flame Qilin tree is gone? He actually has a treasure that can take away the meteorite flame Qilin tree. The meteorite flame Qilin tree's temperature is extremely high. A treasure that can take away the meteorite flame Qilin tree must be extraordinary. Seeing Mo Qingyun's action, greed surfaced on everyone's faces. Ignoring everyone's reaction, Mo Qingyun put away the meteorite flame Qilin tree and sent it to the Fortune mainland. He said, "This meteorite flame Qilin tree's temperature is too high. It's not suitable to be too close to the aboriginals. It should be placed in a deserted place." While thinking, Mo Qingyun scanned the entire Fortune mainland, looking for a suitable place to plant the meteorite flame Qilin tree. This is a lava valley. It's suitable to plant the meteorite flame Qilin tree. Mo Qingyun looked around for a while and found a suitable place. He planted the meteorite flame Qilin tree. Rumble, rumble, rumble. As the meteorite flame Qilin tree was planted, earth-shattering booms came from the lava valley. Then, the area of the lava valley began to expand rapidly. In a short time, the lava valley's surface area had expanded by several hundred times, and the temperature of the flames had risen by 100 times. Fortunately, I chose a deserted place, otherwise, this change would have killed countless lives. Seeing the changes in the lava valley, Mo Qingyun's expression relaxed, a sense of relief rose in his heart. While Mo Qingyun was rejoicing in his heart, the spiritual energy fluctuations in the lava valley became denser. From the looks of it, my previous guess should be correct. Because of the meteorite flame Qilin tree's appearance, the spiritual energy density in the lava valley had increased greatly. Mo Qingyun immediately came up with a plan. He planned to get some spiritual trees and spiritual herbs from the outside world and transplant them to the Fortune mainland. With the help of these spiritual herbs and spiritual trees, the Fortune mainland's evolution would speed up. After planting the meteorite flame Qilin tree, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate, immediately plucking the meteorite flame Qilin fruit. 17 meteorite flame Qilin fruits. Mo Qingyun's face lit up when he saw the meteoric flame Qilin fruit in his hand. He became a little excited and said, "With these 17 meteoric flame Qilin fruits, my spiritual energy will definitely rise to the next level. In this fire spirit heavenly valley, there is a powerful fire element energy that can deter others from entering." Looking at the fire spirit heavenly valley's environment, Mo Qingyun's expression changed. An idea popped into his mind. If I stay here to cultivate, it should be a good choice. I can avoid being disturbed by others. With this thought in mind, Mo Qingyun sat down cross-legged and started refining the meteorite flame Qilin fruit. Mo Qingyun's idea was simple. He wanted to leave this place to find a place to cultivate and increase his strength. Thus, why would he give up on the near and take the far, and find a new place to cultivate? Moreover, if he left this place and ran into the King Devourer, wouldn't that be more troublesome? Inside the fire spirit heavenly valley, There was fire element energy that could block others from approaching him. Was there a better place for him to cultivate wholeheartedly? A short while later, a meteorite flame Qilin fruit was taken out and directly absorbed by Mo Qingyun. That kid is starting to refine the meteorite flame Qilin fruit. We have to stop him. That's right, once that kid refines it, we'll be blind. That cunning kid must be afraid that we'll snatch it away, so he's planning to refine it in advance. Everyone pondered for a moment, then without hesitation, they rushed into the valley again. As soon as they entered the valley, a terrifying fire element energy began to corrode them. Under the corrosion of this energy, their speed slowed down significantly like a snail moving forward. 30,000 meters, 29,000 meters, 3,000 meters. As time continued to pass, the distance between everyone and Mo Qingyun also became closer and closer. At the same time, their speed also became slower and slower. They had to be extra careful with every step they took, lest they were burned by the fire element energy. Although everyone tried their best to get closer to Mo Qingyun, they still couldn't make it in time. While they were rushing, the 11 meteorite flame Qilin fruits had already been refined by Mo Qingyun. It seemed that Mo Qingyun didn't have many meteorite flame Qilin fruits left. Next, everyone continued to get closer to Mo Qingyun, but it was still difficult for them to move forward. After about 2 days, they were only 1,000 meters away from Mo Qingyun. At this moment, Mo Qingyun, who was cultivating, suddenly opened his eyes. Seeing this, everyone had the urge to vomit blood, and they all wanted to go crazy. Judging from the situation, Mo Qingyun seemed to have refined all the meteorite flame Qilin fruits he had obtained. After refining 17 meteorite flame Qilin fruits, my soul power has indeed become purer. Sensing the changes in his soul power, Mo Qingyun immediately revealed a joyful expression. His mood became somewhat excited as he said, "Although my soul realm hasn't increased, compared to before, it's at least several times stronger. With my current soul power, it will be much easier for me to kill Feng Xing." Sensing the improvement in his soul power, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly, very satisfied with the results of this cultivation. Sensing the progress of his cultivation, Mo Qingyun didn't want to stay any longer. He muttered to himself, "Since the meteorite flame Qilin tree has been taken away, and the meteorite flame Qilin fruits have been refined, it's time to leave the Fire Spirit Heaven Valley." Chapter 1705. Stop right there. Seeing that Mo Qingyun was about to leave, someone immediately stood out and blocked his path. Seeing that his path was blocked, Mo Qingyun frowned slightly and said coldly, "Before I change my mind, if you leave on your own accord, I won't bother with you." "Boy, are you threatening me? I'm so scared." Hearing Mo Qingyun's cold words, this person revealed a disdainful smile and pretended to be scared. This person mocked Mo Qingyun for a while, then his face turned cold, and he said coldly, "Boy, I know you're strong and even the Wind Force Palace Master is no match for you. But I don't believe that you can fight against so many of us with your strength alone. Whether I can or not, you'll know after you try." Mo Qingyun's face was indifferent as he replied coldly and walked out of the Fire Spirit Heaven Valley. Seeing Mo Qingyun's action, everyone looked at each other. For a moment, they couldn't figure out Mo Qingyun's depth. In their opinion, even the palace masters of the 3 palaces and 1 palace would panic in the face of such a lineup. But now, Mo Qingyun's face was indifferent. This action was a little abnormal. Could it be that Mo Qingyun really had some powerful trump card? Everyone was puzzled and whispered to each other. No one dared to attack Mo Qingyun. Humph! Pretending to be calm. Seeing that no one dared to stand out, the person who scolded Mo Qingyun earlier flashed and blocked Mo Qingyun's path. He said, "Boy, although you defeated Feng Xing, I don't believe that you can fight against the 3 sharks of the Ghost Resentment Valley with your strength alone." That's right. As soon as Gong Xiao finished speaking, two men who looked similar to him immediately came to his side. Seeing the actions of Gong Xiao and the other two, Mo Qingyun's face turned cold and murderous. He said, "It seems that if I don't kill the chicken to warn the monkey, I won't be able to leave here." The three sharks of the Ghost Resentment Valley were not weak. They were all at the peak of the pregnant path stage, and were only one step away from the cultivating path stage. In this way, the three of them were indeed stronger than Feng Xing when they joined forces. But even so, it was far from enough to deal with Mo Qingyun. Seeing that the three sharks were going to deal with Mo Qingyun, the others immediately retreated and decided to wait and see first. Seeing the actions of the people around him, Shark 3's expression immediately tensed up. He felt like he had been the first to stick his neck out. Originally, they thought that as long as they attacked, the others would join in without hesitation. But they didn't expect that as soon as the three sharks of the Ghost Resentment Valley to them. The three sharks of the three sharks. Since the three of you want to die, I'll fulfill your wishes. Seeing the three of them looking for trouble again and again, Mo Qingyun did not intend to show any mercy. He was prepared to kill them all. Soul prison. Mo Qingyun glanced at the three sharks. A cold light flashed in his left eye and a terrifying aura burst out. Three imposing lights burst out from Mo Qingyun's eyes and instantly blasted into the sea of consciousness of Gong Xiao and the other two. After being hit by the soul attack, the three sharks' expressions immediately trembled and their eyes became hollow. Get lost. Mo Qingyun executed a soul attack to imprison the souls of Gong Xiao and the other two. Then, he punched at the three of them. A terrifying immortal spiritual energy transformed into a huge fist and instantly smashed into Gong Xiao and the other two. Bang bang bang. After being hit by Mo Qingyun's punch, the three sharks were instantly sent flying and fell outside the valley. They fell to the ground and vomited blood. Their faces turned pale, and they looked at Mo Qingyun with fear. They really didn't expect that they couldn't resist Mo Qingyun's attack at all. After sending the three sharks flying with a punch, Mo Qingyun's figure flashed and immediately chased after them. This kid is too strong. The three sharks of the Ghost Resentment Valley couldn't resist him. This kid's strength isn't very strong, but his soul power is too terrifying. He can easily crush all of us. That's right. If we can't resist his soul attack, we can't fight him at all. After seeing Mo Qingyun's attack, everyone immediately had a new understanding of Mo Qingyun's strength. After knowing Mo Qingyun's true strength, everyone's desire for Mo Qingyun immediately lessened. They could see that with Mo Qingyun's terrifying means, his things wouldn't be easy to snatch. At this moment, when Mo Qingyun rushed toward the three sharks of the Ghost Resentment Valley, several powerful figures suddenly appeared. When everyone saw these figures, they immediately showed a respectful expression and consciously retreated to the side. That's right, these people were King Devourer and the others. Ignoring the actions of the people around him, King Devourer glanced at Mo Qingyun and said, "Kid, last time the array interfered with me, so you were lucky to survive. This time, you won't be so lucky." Do. King Devourer. Seeing the arrival of King Devourer and the others, the three sharks of the Ghost Resentment Valley were shocked and immediately retreated to the side. They didn't want to be involved in the dispute of King Devourer, unless they were tired of living. King Devourer, don't flatter yourself. Who was the one who ran away last time? Mo Qingyun didn't care about King Devourer's cold words at all. With an indifferent expression, he said, "Also, are you talking to me now because you're secretly setting up an array again?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, King Devourer's face twitched and turned even uglier. That was exactly what she was thinking. She didn't expect Mo Qingyun to expose her. Seeing the unfriendly look on King Devourer's face, Mo Qingyun smiled and said, "You can set up an array. Coincidentally, I'm also preparing to activate the array." As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he ignored King Devourer and immediately formed a strange hand seal. Seeing Mo Qingyun's hand seal, King Devourer and the others trembled and quickly retreated. Last time, when Emo Qingyun activated the array, they were traumatized and were terrified of Emo Qingyun's array. Therefore, when they saw Emo Qingyun's actions, they instinctively retreated. Aren't you very powerful? Why are you afraid of me activating the array? Seeing the actions of King Devourer and the others, Emo Qingyun smiled disdainfully and immediately turned to flee. According to the description on the array map, there was no array left outside the Fire Spirit Heavenly Valley. Emo Qingyun's actions just now were just to scare King Devourer and the others so that he would have time to get rid of them. On the golden-scaled Ape Mountain, there is an ancient array. I can go there and deal with King Devourer and the others. As Emo Qingyun fled, his mind raced as he chose the location of the next battle. The golden-scaled Ape Mountain was not far from the Fire Spirit Heavenly Valley. With Emo Qingyun's flying speed, it would take at most 10 minutes. Boy, how dare you trick us! You're courting death. Seeing that they were fooled, King Devourer and the others were furious and immediately chased after Emo Qingyun. Seeing the actions of King Devourer and the others, the Ghost Resentment Valley's 3 sharks and the others immediately showed hesitation. This boy dares to hurt us. Let's follow him and see how he dies later. Thinking that he was seriously injured by Emo Qingyun, Gong Xiao's face darkened and he said angrily. Gong Xiao and the other 2 shouted angrily and followed behind King Devourer and the others, chasing after Emo Qingyun. Seeing that Gong Xiao and the other 2 followed, the others hesitated for a moment and also followed with curiosity. Then, the crowd chased after Emo Qingyun, all the way to the golden-scaled Ape Mountain. Not long after, a glittering mountain appeared in front of Emo Qingyun. Seeing this mountain, Emo Qingyun knew that he had arrived at the golden-scaled Ape Mountain. Looking at the golden-scaled Ape Mountain in front of him, Emo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately made a series of hand seals. After a while, Emo Qingyun stopped and made a hand seal in front of him. Bang! Emo Qingyun's hand seal flew out and emitted a shocking aura, forming a huge golden light screen. The golden light formed extremely quickly and in the blink of an eye, the King Devourer and the others were all trapped inside. Oh no, we've been tricked! Seeing this scene, King Devourer and the others were shocked and felt a strong sense of uneasiness. They had been so careful, but they did not expect to fall into Emo Qingyun's trap and be trapped by Emo Qingyun's formation. King Devourer, you've been chasing me relentlessly. Now I'll settle the score with you. Looking at the King Devourer in front of him, Emo Qingyun's face was cold and his body emitted a chill. It was not in Emo Qingyun's character to take a beating without fighting back. Now that he had the chance to fight back, he naturally wanted to take revenge for being chased by King Devourer. As soon as Emo Qingyun finished speaking, he summoned the demon beasts and ghosts and ordered them to attack King Devourer and the others. So many demon beasts and ghosts. Are they all under that kid's control? I didn't expect him to have such a trick up his sleeve. He's really good at hiding things. Luckily, King Devourer and the others appeared. Otherwise, we'd be doomed. Looking at the ghosts and demon beasts in the formation, the 3 sharks of Ghost Resentment Valley and the others all turned pale. At this moment they felt like they had just survived a disaster, as if they had just walked through the gates of hell. They knew very well that with Emo Qingyun's combat strength, it would be too easy for him to destroy them. Combination Gate. Emo Qingyun summoned ghosts and demonic beasts. He didn't hold back and immediately used his martial soul's divine ability. Suddenly, a light gate with 3 grooves appeared in the air above King Devourer. After the combination gate was formed, he emitted a sealing force that smashed into the bodies of King Devourer and the others. After being hit by the combination gate, King Devourer and the others turned pale and a part of their cultivation was sealed. Chapter 1706. Soul Prison. As Emo Qingyun spoke, He glanced at the people from the 3 palaces and 1 palace and launched a soul attack on them. Instantly, waves of powerful soul energy shot out from Emo Qingyun's left eye and blasted into Sha Shan and the rest's consciousness. The people from the 3 palaces and 1 palace had become King Devourer's henchmen and had been helping the King Devourer deal with Emo Qingyun. Emo Qingyun would not be lenient when dealing with this kind of people. He would not show them any mercy. In Emo Qingyun's eyes, killing the people from the 3 palaces and 1 palace was equivalent to killing the King Devourer's henchmen. By then, the King Devourer would lose their support and it would be much more difficult for him to kill him. After being hit by Emo Qingyun's soul attack, Sha Shan and the rest screamed in pain and became dazed. Sha Shan and the rest were in a daze and their attacks slowed down. They were unable to defend themselves against the attacks of the ghosts and monsters. Bang bang bang, Sha Shan and the rest's defense was weakened and the attacks of the ghosts and monsters immediately hit them. Then, Sha Shan and the rest were sent flying and fell to the ground with serious injuries, their faces pale. Before Sha Shan and the others could recover from their shock, the ghosts and demonic beasts once again swarmed towards them, launching another round of frenzied attacks. Under the attacks of so many ghosts and monsters, Sha Shan and the rest were no match for them, not to mention now that they were injured. In a short span of time, Sha Shan and the others had sustained injuries on top of their injuries. A few of the weaker ones had even been blasted to death. Seeing this scene, the sky-devouring mermaid queen's face immediately turned ugly. She said angrily, "Brat, I did not expect your strength to improve so much in such a short time. Looks like I really cannot underestimate you. This is all thanks to you. Speaking of which, I have to thank you properly." In response to King Devourer's words, Emo Qingyun smiled faintly and said, "As the saying goes, with pressure comes motivation. Without the pressure you gave me, how could I have the motivation to cultivate? You have a sharp tongue." Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, King Devourer shouted angrily and immediately attacked Emo Qingyun. From her point of view, Emo Qingyun's current actions were clearly showing that he had taken advantage of her. Exploding frost. The sky-swallowing mermaid empress waved her jade-like hand. Immediately, she stirred up a wave of seawater and sent it crashing down on Emo Qingyun. When the seawater came crashing down on Emo Qingyun, a terrifying power exploded in front of Emo Qingyun. When the seawater exploded, it emitted a cold chi that caused Emo Qingyun to involuntarily shiver. At this moment, the exploding seawater turned into ice and froze the surroundings. Some of the demonic beasts and ghosts that couldn't escape in time were instantly sealed in ice and turned into motionless ice sculptures. Fire beacon, fire wheel. Facing the ice seal, Emo Qingyun did not dare to hesitate and immediately attacked to resist the ice. Under Emo Qingyun's attack, a terrifying flame power burst out from his body. This was the power of the minor path of fire that he had comprehended in the Fire Spirit Heavenly Valley. The power of the minor path of fire burst out and turned into a spinning flaming drill that charged forward. Under the impact of the flaming drill, the ice in front of him was instantly shattered into pieces. Seeing this, Emo Qingyun's figure flashed and avoided being sealed by the ice. So strong. After neutralizing the sky-devouring mermaid empress's attack, Emo Qingyun was shocked. His expression turned solemn. Judging from her current attack, she seems to be much stronger than before. Hearing Emo Qingyun's shocked words, King Devourer smiled faintly and said, "Kid, you're not the only one who knows how to cultivate and improve. I too know how to cultivate and improve my strength. I have neglected this point." Emo Qingyun's expression changed. He realized that he had been careless and neglected this crucial point. King Devourer was different from others. Her cultivation speed could not be treated with common sense. From the current situation, King Devourer's true realm was probably equivalent to the Tao completion stage. Sensing King Devourer's realm, Emo Qingyun was shocked and his mood became heavy. He thought to himself, With King Devourer's cultivation speed, it won't be long before she breaks through to the 9 heavens Xian, immortal realm. When that time comes, I won't be able to resist her at all. The gap between the 9 heavens Xian, immortal realm, and the Tai Xian, immortal realm, was like a chasm between heaven and earth that could not be crossed. More importantly, King Devourer was not an ordinary 9 heavens Xian, immortal. She was the reincarnation of a saint realm expert. This kind of person's true combat strength was basically 1 or 2 realms higher than their cultivation level. Thus, once King Devourer broke through to the 9 heavens Xian, immortal realm, her strength would be terrifying. No, I have to take down King Devourer before she breaks through to the 9 heavens Xian, immortal realm. After thinking about this, Emo Qingyun's expression became more serious. He had a clear plan in his heart. Explode. In order to not be depleted by King Devourer, Emo Qingyun immediately let the ghosts self-destruct to create a powerful attack. Under the crazy self-destruction of the ghosts, Sha Shan and the others were immediately seriously injured. Their auras weakened. Not only Sha Shan and the others, but even King Devourer was seriously injured by the self-destruction of the ghosts. He said angrily, "Damn you, stinking brat! You don't care about the lives of your subordinates and sacrifice them to achieve your goal." Seeing Emo Qingyun's performance, King Devourer was a little more wary of Emo Qingyun. He felt that Emo Qingyun's methods were too ruthless. Even with her temperament, she could not do what Emo Qingyun did. He did not care about the lives of his subordinate. Soul prison. After letting the ghosts self-destruct and injuring Sha Shan and the others, Emo Qingyun used the soul prison on them, making them unable to defend themselves against the attacks of the demons. Now that Sha Shan and the others were seriously injured, they were once again attacked by the demons. Soon, their souls were scattered. Not long after, King Devourer became a general without an army. He glared angrily at Emo Qingyun. A brat at the golden celestial stage was able to defeat her time and time again in their confrontation. To her, this was simply a great humiliation. "King Devourer, you're the only one left." After taking care of Sha Shan and the others, Emo Qingyun smiled faintly and looked mockingly at King Devourer. Emo Qingyun mocked King Devourer. He did not let his guard down and continued to order the demons to attack. Under the continuous self-destruction of the demons, King Devourer was in great pain. He had become a living target for the demons. She had just reincarnated and started cultivating again. Her body was still very weak, and she could not take any more serious injuries. "Brat, you can't escape from me. Just you wait." Seeing that the situation was not right, the sky-devouring mermaid monarch left after saying some harsh words. The sky-devouring mermaid empress waved her tail and left the array formation, disappearing in a few flashes. Looking at the back of the sky-devouring mermaid empress, Emo Qingyun frowned and thought to himself, "The sky-devouring mermaid empress has suffered a few losses in a row. It will be much more difficult to deal with her next time. I'll deal with whatever comes my way." Emo Qingyun sighed. He did not think too much about it and began to clean up the battlefield. Not long after, Emo Qingyun took away the bodies of Sha Shan and the others. After cleaning up the battlefield, Missouri Qingyun looked at Gong Shao and the others and said, "You 3 came after me because you want to continue fighting with me?" "No. No." Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Gong Shao and the others panicked and shook their heads like rattles. At this moment, they even had the heart to die, regretting that they followed. Even King Devourer returned in defeat. The few of them went against Emo Qingyun. Wasn't this equivalent to courting death? Seeing the actions of Gong Shao and the others, Emo Qingyun could not be bothered with them. His figure moved and entered the golden-scaled ape mountain. In the golden-scaled ape mountain, there is a kind of supreme sage tyrant body fruit. Eating it can strengthen the physique and let the body be reborn. Emo Qingyun had an expectant look on his face as he recalled the memories in his mind. he started to search around the golden-scaled ape mountain. If I obtain the great sage overlord body fruit, I will be able to break through to the great golden body stage. Thinking of this, the anticipation in Emo Qingyun's heart immediately became more intense. The area of the golden-scaled ape mountain was very large. Wanting to find the supreme sage tyrant body fruit here was not an easy matter. Helpless, Emo Qingyun could only repeat the same trick and let the demon beasts help him search. Demon beasts? Emo Qingyun released the demon beasts. His eyes suddenly lit up as he had a perfect idea. That's right, the demon beasts in the golden-scaled ape mountain must be more familiar with the golden-scaled ape mountain. If I subdue them, the search should be more efficient. Thinking of this, Emo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately focused on subduing the demon beasts. Next, as time continued to pass, Emo Qingyun subdued more and more demon beasts. He also became more and more familiar with the terrain of the golden-scaled ape mountain. Gradually, he had news of the supreme sage tyrant body fruit. The Golden Cloud Cave. This was a piece of information that Emo Qingyun had obtained from many demon beasts. It was said that the supreme sage tyrant body fruit was there. However, the Golden Cloud Cave was filled with danger. It was not a good place to go. A moment of carelessness could lead to death. Since I have news of the supreme sage tyrant body fruit, I can't give up so easily. Although he knew that the Golden Cloud Cave was very dangerous, it was not Emo Qingyun's character to give up so easily. Emo Qingyun pondered for a moment. He rushed towards the Golden Cloud Cave and prepared to explore it. The location of the Golden Cloud Cave was very obvious. Under the guidance of some demon beasts, Emo Qingyun easily found it. The Golden Cloud Cave, as its name suggested, emitted a dazzling golden light, making it difficult for people to see the scene inside. After scanning the Golden Cloud Cave in front of him, Emo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately walked into the Golden Cloud Cave. As he approached the Golden Cloud Cave, a terrifying aura was emitted from the Golden Cloud Cave. This Golden Cloud Cave actually contains holy aura. Walking into the Golden Cloud Cave, Emo Qingyun's expression was shocked. He was very surprised by the situation. Chapter 1707. The deeper he went into Gold Glow Cave, the stronger the Saint Aura became. Emo Qingyun found it difficult to move forward. Faced with the Saint Aura in Gold Glow Cave, Emo Qingyun immediately activated the Saint Aura of his soul to counteract it. Emo Qingyun had the support of the Saint Aura and could counteract the Saint Aura in Gold Glow Cave. However, the demons he had subdued could not. Not long after, the demons showed signs of pain and said that they could not go any further. Seeing the state of the demons, Emo Qingyun did not force them. He let them leave Gold Glow Cave first. As Emo Qingyun kept moving forward, the Saint Aura in Gold Glow Cave slowly turned from formless to tangible. Gradually, the shadows of apes holding sticks began to appear in front of Emo Qingyun. Bang! As soon as these ape shadows appeared, they waved their sticks and attacked Emo Qingyun. Faced with the attacks of these ape shadows, Emo Qingyun did not dare to be careless. He immediately blocked them. Sword light from eyes. Emo Qingyun's right eye flashed. A crescent-shaped sword light blasted out and hit the ape shadows. Under the bombardment of Emo Qingyun's eyes, the ape shadows were instantly defeated and dissipated in the air. What powerful Saint Aura! Although he had defeated the ape shadows in front of him, Emo Qingyun was still shocked. He was very surprised by this situation. To be able to condense Saint Aura into tangible form and cause substantial harm to people, this method was too powerful. Even an existence like the sky-devouring Mermaid Empress would not be able to do this even at her peak. After defeating the attacking ape shadows, Emo Qingyun did not stop. He continued to walk into Gold Glow Cave. Not long after, a shining golden fruit tree appeared in Emo Qingyun's sight. On the fruit tree, there were several shining golden fruits, exuding a shocking aura. Under Mo Qingyun's observation, he was surprised that he could not see the appearance of the fruits. These fruits sometimes looked like golden oranges and sometimes they looked like golden apes. It was constantly changing. Could this be the great sage tyrant body fruit? Looking at the spirit fruit in front of him, Mo Qingyun was shocked and tried to guess the origin of this fruit. As soon as this thought appeared in Mo Qingyun's mind, he immediately revealed a look of ecstasy and became excited. Soon after, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and quickly walked forward. Boom boom boom, when Mo Qingyun walked forward, the ground suddenly shook, and the saint aura suddenly increased by a lot. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun's expression changed greatly, and he quickly retreated. As Mo Qingyun retreated, the roots of the great sage tyrant body tree released a golden glow. When the dazzling golden light appeared, a small monkey bone slowly appeared in front of Mo Qingyun. As soon as this monkey bone appeared, it transformed into a monkey shadow and emitted a powerful aura. The monkey shadow wore a golden crown on its head and was clad in golden armor. It held a golden rod in its hand and gave off an invincible feeling. Could this be the saint stage expert? Looking at the monkey shadow in front of him, Mo Qingyun was shocked and could not believe his eyes. While Mo Qingyun was shocked, he could not help but sigh. It seems that the rumor is true. The place where the great sage tyrant body tree grows must have the corpse of a saint stage expert buried there. Not bad, not bad. Although this is not the true form of an ape, this body suits me. The golden monkey shadow glanced at Mo Qingyun. Its cunning eyes revealed a hint of mockery. Seeing the golden monkey shadow's action, Mo Qingyun was shocked. He knew what the other party wanted to do. If he was not mistaken, the other party wanted to seize his body and use it to reincarnate and cultivate again. Run. Thinking of this, Mo Qingyun did not dare to hesitate and immediately prepared to escape from the Golden Glow Cave. Seeing that Mo Qingyun was about to escape, the golden monkey shadow laughed and said loudly, "Boy, it is your fortune to be chosen by this saint. Obediently hand over your body to this saint." As soon as the golden monkey shadow finished speaking, it somersaulted and jumped directly in front of Mo Qingyun. When the golden monkey shadow arrived in front of Mo Qingyun, it turned around in the air and swung its rod at Mo Qingyun. The golden monkey shadow's rod fell as if it had pierced through space. In the blink of an eye, it was in front of Mo Qingyun. So strong, so fast. Mo Qingyun was shocked when he saw the golden monkey's name on the list. He quickly retreated. Traceless demon shadow. Rushing thunder wind path. Illusory void star position. At this moment, Mo Qingyun did not dare to hold back and immediately increased his speed to the maximum. Under Mo Qingyun's escape, he immediately left behind an afterimage and left from his original place. When Mo Qingyun left, the golden monkey shadow's rod fell and smashed the place where he was standing into a large pit. Boom! Under the attack of the golden monkey shadow, a loud bang was heard, and the ground shook continuously. At the same time, the cave began to collapse as boulders began to fall from the ceiling. Fortunately, Mo Qingyun's body was strong and he was not afraid of these huge rocks. As expected of a Saint Realm expert who is stronger than the King Devourer. Just a trace of his remnant consciousness is so strong. Seeing the golden monkey shadow's rod, Mo Qingyun could not help but sigh. He had a better understanding of the former's strength. The golden monkey shadow's every move contained the power of the great path, which made the ordinary rod become infinitely mysterious. No, I have to think of a way to deal with it. Otherwise, I will really die today. After seeing the golden monkey shadow's power, Mo Qingyun's mind quickly turned and his heart was in his mouth. He had a feeling that, under the golden monkey shadow's detection, he would not even have the chance to use the teleportation gate. Right, the God Shooter Bow and Tiger Soul are both primordial mystical weapons. Maybe they have a way to deal with the golden monkey shadow. Emo Qingyun thought for a short while and immediately thought of the god Shooter Bao and Tiger Soul that were recovering. He quickly called out to them, God Shooter Bao, Tiger Soul, I am in big trouble. Come out and help me. Swoosh, swoosh. Under Emo Qingyun's call, the god Shooter Bao and Tiger Soul did not dare to hesitate and immediately appeared beside Emo Qingyun. From Emo Qingyun's tone, they could tell that Emo Qingyun was really in trouble. The projection of the godly sea-steadying needle. Could it be the six-eared macaque? It is indeed this guy. I didn't expect it to come here. When the god Shooter Bao and Tiger Soul saw the golden monkey shadow, they were immediately shocked as they recognized it. Sea-steadying needle? Six-eared macaque? What are these? Hearing the god Shooter Bao and Tiger Soul, Emo Qingyun could not help but be shocked. He asked curiously, God Shooter Bao, Tiger Soul, do you know where it came from? That's right. The god Shooter Bao flipped its body to show its answer to Emo Qingyun. It then said, this guy came from the journey to the West Civilization Plane, which is of the same level as us. It is of a higher level than the savage plane you are in. Civilization? Plane? Hearing the god Shooter Bao's words, Emo Qingyun suddenly felt a headache coming on. He felt that he could not think properly. What was going on? According to what they said, there was an even bigger world outside the savage plane. Seeing Emo Qingyun's shocked expression, the god Shooter Bao did not continue speaking. It changed the topic. These are still very far away for you. When you reach the saint stage one day, you might have the chance to come in contact with them. Only when I reach the saint stage can I come in contact with them. Emo Qingyun was shocked once again. His heart was in turmoil. He was truly frightened by the god Shooter Bao's words. While Emo Qingyun was still in shock, Tiger Soul's body was burning with demonic flames. It said eerily, Six-eared macaque, this guy is someone I have high hopes for. Can you give me some face and let him go? A piece of scrap metal dares to negotiate with me? You think too highly of yourselves. Hearing Tiger Soul's words, the six-eared macaque laughed disdainfully. It did not take Tiger Soul seriously at all. Tiger Soul was enraged when it heard six-eared macaque's words. The demonic flames on its body grew several times stronger. At this moment, a powerful aura that was comparable to a saint's exploded from Tiger Soul's body. So strong. I didn't expect Tiger Soul to become so strong after some repairs. Feeling the aura from Tiger Soul, Emo Qingyun was shocked. He could not believe what he was seeing. He had always known that Tiger Soul and the god Shooter Bao were powerful, but he did not know how powerful they were. Now, it seemed that their true power and grade were above that of a saint weapon. God Shooter Bao, let's kill this arrogant and condescending bastard together. Seeing that the six-eared macaque was not giving it face, Tiger Soul did not want to waste time talking to it. It urged the god Shooter Bao to attack together. Hearing Tiger Soul's words, the god Shooter Bao shot out an arrow with a golden flash. The arrow was extremely fast. It arrived in an instant and hit the six-eared macaque. Whoosh! After being hit by the god Shooter Bao's arrow, the six-eared macaque's body was blown apart. It quickly reformed and said angrily, You two pieces of scrap metal. How dare you meddle in my business? I will smash you into pieces. As soon as the six-eared macaque finished speaking, it waved its big stick and smashed it at Tiger Soul. Tiger Soul did not back down in the face of the six-eared macaque's attack. It met the attack head-on. Clang! Clang! Then, Emo Qingyun saw these three fellows fighting a chaotic battle in his line of sight. Every time they collided, a terrifying aura would be released. Emo Qingyun felt his heart tremble. Is this a battle between saint stage experts? At this moment, Emo Qingyun couldn't help but sigh. He felt his own insignificance and said, It seems that I was too short-sighted in the past. No wonder people always say that there is always someone better than you. As the battle between the three parties became louder and louder, Emo Qingyun had no choice but to retreat. He was caught in the crossfire. After Emo Chinyun retreated for a while, he came to the side of the great sage tyrant body tree. Immediately, he had a bold idea. The three of them are in full swing now. They don't have the time to care about it. Why don't I move the great sage tyrant body tree? With that thought, Emo Chinyun did not hesitate. He immediately moved the great sage tyrant body tree. Chapter 1708. After moving the great sage tyrant body tree away, Emo Chinyun smiled faintly as he watched the battle from the sidelines. Based on the current situation, even if the god shooter Bao and the others were defeated, he would have achieved his goal. As Emo Chinyun watched, the battle between the god shooter Bao, Tiger Soul, and Six-Eared Macaque became more and more intense. However, from the looks of it, the god shooter Bao and the others still had the upper hand. Kid, take this guy's corpse away. Turn it into a rootless duckweed. It won't be able to absorb any heaven and earth spiritual energy. When Tiger Soul discovered the Six-Eared Macaque's corpse, it immediately reminded Emo Chinyun. It wanted to use this to weaken the Six-Eared Macaque. All right. Emo Chinyun nodded and rushed towards the Six-Eared Macaque's corpse. He skillfully threw it into the Fortune mainland. Seeing that its corpse was taken away, the Six-Eared Macaque was shocked. It glared angrily at Emo Chinyun and said, "Kid, how dare you touch my corpse? I'm going to tear you to pieces. Eat my staff." Yeah. The Six-Eared Macaque's figure flashed and appeared in front of Emo Chinyun. It swung its staff at Emo Chinyun. Facing the Six-Eared Macaque's attack, Emo Chinyun did not dare to respond. He immediately retreated. Combination Gate. As Emo Chinyun retreated, he used his martial soul's ability to hide his body. At the same time, a terrifying sealing power appeared and slammed into the Six-Eared Macaque's body. After being hit by the sealing power, the Six-Eared Macaque's body trembled. Its attack weakened a little. While the Six-Eared Macaque was hesitating, Emo Chinyun retreated to the side and left the Six-Eared Macaque's attack range. While Emo Chinyun was running away, Tiger Soul and the god shooter Bao chased after him and started fighting the Six-Eared Macaque again. The Six-Eared Macaque was already at a disadvantage. Now that it was sealed by the combination gate, it was naturally no match for the god shooter Bao. Not only that, the Six-Eared Macaque's speed of absorbing heaven and earth spiritual energy had slowed down a lot after losing its corpse. Gradually, the Six-Eared Macaque started to show signs of weakness. Six-Eared Macaque, you're at the end of your rope. You should give up. Let me give you a suggestion. If you submit to this kid, you'll be reborn. That's right. This kid has an innate talent that can grant your spirit's soul eternal life. Even though the Six-Eared Macaque sighed, Tiger Soul and the others, they did not want to kill it. In Tiger Soul and the Maseered Macaques had Macaque. If he could swindle it and henceforth become Emo Chinyun's star general, this certainly was not a bad thing. Macaques Macaque Macaques. The Macaque Macaque. Inzon. Hearing Tiger Soul and the others' persuasion, the Six-Eared Macaque roared angrily and swung the golden staff in his hand again. However, even when it swung the golden rod in its hand, its might was much weaker than before. Emo Chinyun could sense that the Six-Eared Macaque's power was only at the level of a quasi-saint. You want to do this the hard way? Seeing Six-Eared Macaque's actions, Tiger Soul shouted coldly and attacked Six-Eared Macaque again. The Six-Eared Macaque was cut in half by Tiger Soul's attack. The Macaque Macaque's power was weakened again. Whoosh! A sharp arrow shot out from the god shooter Bao. It shattered the Six-Eared Macaque's body. The Six-Eared Macaque's power was even weaker now. It looked like it could not even stand up to a gust of wind. Seeing the Six-Eared Macaque in such a state, Tiger Soul's demonic flames surged. It said coldly, Six-Eared Macaque, if you want revenge, you have to at least stay alive. If you lose your life, then you'll have no chance at all. The Six-Eared Macaque's eyes lit up when it heard Tiger Soul's words. Okay, I'm willing to follow this kid. What do you want me to do? The six-eared macaque was finally moved by Tiger Soul's words. It believed that staying alive was the most important thing. Emo Qingyun's expression changed when he heard the six-eared macaque's words. He was excited. Something as powerful as the six-eared macaque was willing to submit to him. It was unbelievable. After a short moment of shock, Emo Qingyun calmed himself down and subdued the six-eared macaque. Then, a strange mark flew out of Emo Qingyun's soul palace. The mark flew out and entered the six-eared macaque's body. It fused with its soul. When the mark fused with the six-eared macaque, Emo Qingyun had a clear understanding of the six-eared macaque's origins. It's just a manifestation of evil thoughts? After learning about the six-eared macaque's identity, Emo Qingyun was shocked. He sighed and said, "If an evil thought is this strong, then how strong is the real Great Saint Sun? The Lotus God General is also from the journey to the west." As Emo Qingyun read the six-eared macaque's memories, more and more shocking information appeared in his mind. "Kid, we used up a lot of energy in the battle just now. I'm afraid we won't be able to fight for a while." Seeing Emo Qingyun subdue the six-eared macaque, the God Shooter Bao spoke weakly to Emo Qingyun. After the God Shooter Bao spoke, the demonic flames on Tiger Soul's body weakened. It said weakly, "With this guy by your side, as long as you don't run into any saints, you shouldn't be in any danger. You guys are also at the end of your rope?" Sensing Tiger Soul and the God Shooter Bao's presence, the six-eared macaque's expression changed. It suddenly understood something and said angrily, "Damn it! You guys kept telling me to submit. Turns out that you guys are also at the end of your rope." After realizing this, the six-eared macaque immediately realized that it had been tricked by Tiger Soul and the God Shooter Bao. "Six-eared macaque, just follow this kid obediently. He won't mistreat you. Haha." Seeing that its intentions had been exposed, Tiger Soul laughed awkwardly and disappeared in a flash. When Tiger Soul's figure disappeared, the God Shooter Bao's figure also flashed and disappeared. "I'm so angry, so angry. I was tricked by 2 pieces of scrap metal." Realizing that it had been tricked, the six-eared macaque was furious. The 6-meter-long eardrum was enraged. It glared at Emo Qingyun and swung its claws at him again. "Brat, you dare to play with me? I'm going to grind your bones to dust. As expected of a saint. You've become my star general, yet you still dare to disobey me." Seeing the six-eared macaque's actions, Emo Qingyun was shocked, but he did not show it. Now that the six-eared macaque had become his star general, it was no longer up to it. "Kneel!" Emo Qingyun roared. It was like thunder from the 9th heaven, and it blasted into the six-eared macaque's soul. Emo Qingyun's roar made the six-eared macaque's body tremble. Its face was filled with fear. Then, it stopped attacking Emo Qingyun and knelt before Emo Qingyun in awe. At this moment, the six-eared macaque was unwilling, but it could not stop itself from submitting. "Six-eared macaque, I know you're unwilling, but if you disrespect me again, don't blame me for not showing you any mercy." Looking at the six-eared macaque in front of him, Emo Qingyun's face was solemn. He threatened the six-eared macaque. Of course, Emo Qingyun's words weren't false. If the six-eared macaque did not change, no matter how strong it was, he would not let it live. This guy was too strong. Keeping it by his side was like keeping a ticking time bomb. With Emo Qingyun's personality, he would not do something like this. He would not keep a troublemaker by his side. "Master, please don't be angry. I won't do it again." Feeling the fear in its soul, the six-eared macaque looked terrified. It hurriedly promised Emo Qingyun. When the six-eared macaque admitted its mistake, it looked at Xiao Chen with a hint of respect. The way it saw it, the kid in front of it was not very strong, but his skills were terrifying. Seeing the six-eared macaque's reaction, Emo Qingyun looked better. He waved at the six-eared macaque and said, "In the fight just now, you used up a lot of energy. Let me send you into the Soul Palace to cultivate." Emo Qingyun pointed at the Soul Palace and released a suction force. The six-eared macaque was sucked inside. "Master, this small world of yours is of great benefit to my cultivation." After entering Emo Qingyun's Soul Palace, the six-eared macaque looked surprised and excited. "It's good that it's beneficial." Emo Qingyun nodded and replied to the six-eared macaque. He then said, "Oh right. I took your body just now. Will it affect your cultivation? Do you want me to return it to you?" "Master, there's no need." The six-eared macaque replied happily. "Now that I have established a connection with you, I can use your body to absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. It's much better than my body." "You can do that?" Hearing the six-eared macaque's words, Emo Qingyun was shocked. He said in a slightly annoyed tone, "It seems that you have gained some benefits by becoming my star general." A little, just a little," the six-eared macaque said insincerely. From its tone, one could tell that it had gained a lot. Seeing that the six-eared macaque was fine, Emo Qingyun ignored it and disappeared into the Fortune mainland. "Since I have the great sage tyrant body fruit, I should improve my cultivation." Looking at the great sage tyrant body fruit in front of him, Emo Qingyun's face was filled with excitement and anticipation. Immediately, Emo Qingyun plucked the great sage tyrant body fruit and started to refine it. As Emo Qingyun refined the great sage tyrant body fruit, a terrifying and domineering energy spread out from the fruit. When the energy spread into Emo Qingyun's body, it was like a sharp knife, cutting into Emo Qingyun's body. Soon after, a heart-wrenching pain appeared in Emo Qingyun's body. "Endure it. I must endure it." Feeling the pain, Emo Qingyun gritted his teeth and hurriedly circulated the Xian Qing scripture. Chapter 1709. As Emo Qingyun circulated the Xian Qing scripture, the medicinal power of the great sage tyrant body fruit was slowly being converted and absorbed by him. Under the effect of the great sage tyrant body fruit, Emo Qingyun's physical body was immediately strengthened and underwent a qualitative leap. If Emo Qingyun's physical body had been as hard as mud before, then it was now as hard as gold. Now, Emo Qingyun's physical body was as hard as gold. This was a complete transformation. The great sage tyrant body fruit is so powerful. When he discovered the power of the great sage tyrant body fruit, Mo Qingyun was ecstatic and worked even harder to absorb it. As Mo Qingyun worked hard to absorb the fruit, the pain he felt in his physical body gradually weakened. Without the interference of physical pain, Emo Qingyun's cultivation immediately became easier and the efficiency of his refining increased by a lot. While the medicinal power of the great sage tyrant body fruit was improving Emo Qingyun's physical body, it was also increasing Emo Qingyun's cultivation. Gradually, Emo Qingyun's immortal path realm approached the middle stage of the great golden body realm. Time passed bit by bit as Emo Qingyun cultivated. 2 months passed in the blink of an eye. During these 2 months of cultivation, all the great sage tyrant body fruits on the tree had been refined by Emo Qingyun. After refining all the great sage tyrant body fruits, Emo Qingyun had gained a lot and raised his cultivation to the pinnacle stage of the great golden body realm. The pinnacle stage of the great golden body realm. I'm only 1 step away from the indestructible golden body realm. After sensing his own cultivation, Emo Qingyun revealed a surprised smile and said, "From the looks of it, I'll be able to advance to the indestructible golden body realm in at most 3 months. My current physical strength is almost comparable to a quasi-sacred weapon." After checking his immortal path realm cultivation, Emo Qingyun took another look and saw that the strength of his physical body had increased during cultivation. "My cultivation base has improved quite a bit recently, but I still have to solve the problem of my divine abilities and immortal arts as soon as possible. Mo Qingyun frowned when he thought of the immortal arts and divine abilities he had mastered. He thought to himself, if I don't have powerful divine abilities and immortal arts, I will be at a disadvantage when fighting with others. In the Chaos Origin Lightning Dragon Palace, there are some Lightning Dao divine abilities. I wonder if they have been stolen. Mo Qingyun pondered for a moment, then decided to leave the Fortune Mainland without hesitation. Coming out from the Fortune Mainland, Mo Qingyun rushed to the Chaos Lightning Dragon Temple without stopping. The Primordial Thunder Dragon Palace was not near. Mo Qingyun had to travel for 2 days before he finally arrived near the Primordial Thunder Dragon Palace. Boom, 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 outside the Primordial Lightning Dragon Palace, there were many lightning bolts surrounding it, forming a huge sea of lightning. Mo Qingyun stood outside the sea of lightning. He could feel a terrifying might, as if it was about to swallow him whole. What a terrifying sea of lightning! Mo Qingyun pondered for a moment before he walked into the sea of lightning. He endured the power of lightning as he advanced. As Mo Qingyun moved forward, waves of terrifying lightning energy blasted his body domineeringly. Being bombarded by the surrounding lightning energy, Mo Qingyun couldn't help but be startled. He felt a sense of relief and said, "Fortunately, I refined the great sage tyrant body fruit. Otherwise, it wouldn't be easy for me to pass through this sea of lightning." Mo Qingyun was sure that it was extremely difficult for ordinary Dao comprehending experts to pass through this sea of lightning. Several hours later, Mo Qingyun continued to advance and arrived at the Primordial Thunder Dragon Palace. He saw many people who were recuperating. The injuries on these people. Could it be that they paid a painful price to pass through the sea of lightning? Looking at the appearance of the people in the palace, Missouri Qingyun was shocked. He silently guessed in his heart. There were also some powerful people who had successfully passed through the sea of lightning without any injuries. It seems that I'm really late. Seeing the people in the Primordial Thunder Dragon Palace, Missouri Qingyun couldn't help but sigh. He felt a little disappointed. Although he felt a little disappointed, Mo Qingyun didn't leave immediately. He slowly walked into the palace. In Mo Qingyun's opinion, even if he couldn't obtain a powerful superpower, he could at least walk around here. Golden Immortal Stage? When they saw Mo Qingyun appear, some people in the palace immediately looked surprised. They hadn't expected that a person with a Golden Immortal Stage cultivation could actually come here. However, those who knew Mo Qingyun were all shocked when they saw Mo Qingyun come here. Then, these people distanced themselves from Mo Qingyun, for fear that they would accidentally provoke Mo Qingyun. They still remembered Mo Qingyun's ferocity and ruthlessness. It was like a nightmare that couldn't be erased. Mo Qingyun ignored everyone's actions and walked into the palace unhurriedly. As he walked into the Chaotic Origin Lightning Dragon Hall, a terrifying oppressive aura descended on Mo Qingyun's body. What a powerful aura! Could there be a powerful existence in the palace? Mo Qingyun was startled when he sensed the pressure of this aura. He immediately raised his guard. At the same time, Mo Qingyun was also curious about the existence in the palace. Bang! 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 Just as Mo Qingyun was feeling shocked, a series of loud sounds came from the interior of the hall. Then, Mo Qingyun saw several figures flying out from the inside of the hall. Seeing these people flying out, Mo Qingyun's expression became more solemn and he was even more curious. When these people flew out of the palace, they immediately sat down cross-legged and began to regulate their breathing and recover from their injuries. As they recovered from their injuries, they were all excited, as if they had obtained some treasure. Judging from these people's behavior, they seemed to have obtained a lot of benefit. How strange! Seeing everyone's behavior, Mo Qingyun was even more puzzled and curious about the palace. Soon after, Mo Qingyun walked quickly into the hall with a curious expression. Before long, a huge lightning lake appeared in front of Mo Qingyun. In the center of the lightning lake, there was a huge lightning dragon swimming continuously in the lake. At this moment, there were many people watching from the surroundings of the lightning lake. Judging from the posture of these people, it seemed like they were waiting for the right opportunity to attack the lightning dragon. Just now, the Black Demon Fish Valley Master Ma Bo obtained a scale from the divine ability Lightning Dragon's Claw. It must be an incredible offensive divine ability. If we can obtain a scale from the divine ability Lightning Dragon's Head, it will be a truly powerful divine ability. I won't think too much about other things. It would be great if we can obtain a scale from the divine ability Lightning Dragon's Tail. Emo Qinyun stood at the edge of the lightning lake and listened to everyone's conversation. Divine ability Lightning Dragon? Divine ability scale? Hearing everyone's words, Emo Qinyun's expression changed to one of surprise and curiosity. Could it be that in order to obtain the divine ability secret technique of the Chaos Lightning Dragon Palace, I need to obtain a scale from the divine ability Lightning Dragon? Thinking of this, Emo Qinyun's face immediately lit up and his mood improved. It seemed like he wasn't late and could also try to obtain the divine ability scale. So those people weren't injured from crossing the lightning lake, but from obtaining the divine ability scale. At this moment, Emo Qinyun had a clear answer to the injuries of the people in the palace. When those people flew out, they were all excited and joyful. They must have obtained the divine ability scale. At this moment, while Emo Qinyun was pondering, a youth wearing a silver crown flew toward the divine ability Lightning Dragon. Suppress. When the youth arrived above the divine ability Lightning Dragon, he took out a silver net and threw it at the divine ability Lightning Dragon. When the silver net spread out, it bloomed with silver light like bolts of lightning. Soon, the silver net covered the divine ability Lightning Dragon and restricted its movements. Seeing this, the youth didn't stop and immediately flew toward the divine ability Lightning Dragon. With a few flashes, the silver-crowned youth arrived in front of the Thunder Dragon God Art. He raised his hand and grabbed the dragon's horns. Soon, the youth's hands grabbed the divine ability Lightning Dragon's horns. Success! Seeing this, the youth was overjoyed and his arms trembled in excitement. However, at this moment, an unforeseen event happened. Boom! The divine ability Lightning Dragon's body suddenly shook violently and broke the silver net that trapped it. After shaking the silver net that trapped him, the Thunder Dragon divine ability lashed out with its tail and viciously struck the silver-crowned young man. Bang! After being whipped by the divine ability Lightning, the youth was instantly sent flying and landed outside the lightning lake. Puff! The youth fell to the ground and spat out blood. His face was as pale as paper. He said angrily, "What a cunning beast! It pretended to be trapped so that it could sneak attack me when I was careless." Hearing the youth's actions, everyone was shocked. They were very surprised by this situation. They didn't expect the divine ability Lightning Dragon to be so cunning. Was it really a divine ability Lightning Dragon? Even a real immemorial Lightning Dragon wouldn't be so cunning. This divine ability Lightning Dragon's intelligence isn't any weaker than a real Lightning Dragon. We must be careful later. That's right. Young Master Silver Lizard was careless and suffered such a great loss. I observed that the divine ability Lightning Dragon would come out of the lightning lake every once in a while. That's when it's the easiest time to snatch the scales. Really? I'll give it a try later. Seeing what happened to the youth, everyone's expression tensed up. They were more wary of the divine ability Lightning Dragon. Hearing everyone's conversation, Emo Qinyun immediately understood and became more curious about the divine ability Lightning Dragon. It seemed that the different scales of the divine ability Lightning Dragon corresponded to different types of divine abilities. Since the scales are divine abilities, why did the youth want to snatch the horns? Thinking back to the youth's actions, Emo Qinyun was immediately puzzled. He was curious about the divine ability of the divine ability Lightning Dragon's horns. Although he didn't understand, Emo Qingyun didn't ask anyone. He quietly observed from the side. After observing for a while, Emo Qingyun learned about the use of the twin horns from the people around him. It turned out that the horns didn't just contain divine abilities, they were also two powerful weapons. Chapter 17:10. If that's the case, I can't miss out on the horns of the lightning dragon's sacred art. After knowing the power of the lightning dragon's sacred art's horns, Emo Qingyun's interest in it immediately changed. Boom! Just as Emo Qingyun made up his mind, the lightning dragon's sacred art flew out of the lightning lake and swayed its body above the lightning lake. The moment they saw the lightning dragon's sacred art fly out of the lightning lake, everyone seemed to have been injected with chicken blood as they immediately swarmed towards the lightning dragon's sacred art. With so many people distracting us, this is a good opportunity to make a move. When everyone charged towards the lightning dragon's sacred art, Emo Qingyun didn't delay as he charged forward with everyone. Emo Qingyun's speed was extremely fast as he overtook everyone in the blink of an eye and arrived in front of everyone. After arriving in front of everyone, Emo Qingyun's body didn't stop as he directly flew towards the lightning dragon's sacred art's head. Emo Qingyun's figure flashed a few times as he arrived at the lightning dragon's sacred art's head and grabbed onto the lightning dragon's sacred art's horns. Is that kid crazy? Did he forget what happened to the silver iguana prince? A golden immortal stage kid dares to touch the lightning dragon's sacred art's horns? He doesn't know what's good for him. Even if he was lucky enough to get the horns, with his insignificant cultivation, how could he take the horns away? Don't bother about him. Let's take advantage of the fact that there are so many people to peel off the scales from the lightning dragon's sacred art. Everyone glanced at Emo Qingyun before ignoring Emo Qingyun as they all started to peel off the lightning dragon's sacred art scales. Just as everyone was peeling off the scales, Emo Qingyun let out a furious roar as a terrifying power exploded from his hands. Rip! Two sounds of flesh being ripped apart could be heard from the lightning dragon's sacred art. The two horns of the lightning dragon's sacred art were forcefully pulled off by Emo Qingyun. Roar! After the horns were pulled off by Emo Qingyun, the lightning dragon's sacred art was immediately enraged as it started to twist its body violently. Under the lightning dragon's sacred art's twisting body, some people who were close to it were immediately sent flying. A few of the luckier ones managed to peel off the scales of the lightning dragon the moment they were sent flying. Looking at the enraged lightning dragon, Emo Qingyun didn't dare to stay any longer. He immediately fled towards the edge of the lightning lake. After a few flashes, Emo Qingyun arrived at the side of the lightning lake and put away the two dragon horns. That kid really tore off two horns. It's really unbelievable. This brat is merely at the golden immortal stage. How could he possibly be qualified to possess the dragon horn? That's right. If the dragon horn is taken away by him, what face do we have left? Some of the people who didn't know Emo Qingyun saw that Emo Qingyun had obtained the dragon horn god ability, and their faces were filled with unwillingness and desire. A bunch of idiot. How dare they set their sights on him? They're really courting death. Those who knew Emo Qingyun's background immediately mocked and sympathized with them when they saw what the others were thinking. In their opinion, those who dared to snatch Emo Qingyun's things were no different from being tired of living. Brat, give me the dragon horn god ability you obtained. I can guarantee your safety. Silver Lizard coveted the dragon horn god ability. Now that he saw that Emo Qingyun had obtained it, he was naturally the first to stand up. When the crowd saw Silver Lizard stand up, they all showed fear and unconsciously had some misgivings. This Silver Lizard was very strange. He had only cultivated for a few thousand years, but he had already reached the Tao nourishing stage. Because Silver Lizard's cultivation time was short and he didn't like to compete for fame and fortune. Therefore, Silver Lizard's prestige was not as great as the palace masters of the 3 halls and 1 palace. However, in the hearts of some people, Silver Lizard's status and identity were equal to the palace masters of the 3 halls and 1 palace. In the eyes of some people, Silver Lizard was even more terrifying than the people of the 3 halls and 1 palace. It couldn't be helped. As long as one had a discerning eye, they could see that Silver Lizard's talent was above the palace masters of the 3 halls and 1 palace. Scram! Emo Qinyun shouted coldly in response to Silver Lizard's words. He didn't even look at Silver Lizard. Upon seeing Emo Qinyun's action, Silver Lizard's face turned cold and he shouted, "Kid, don't be so shameless. I just don't want to make a move on you. That doesn't mean that I won't do it. I'll return those words to you. I hope you know what's good for you." Emo Qinyun stopped and glanced at Silver Lizard, throwing out a sentence. After saying that, Emo Qinyun ignored Silver Lizard and prepared to look at the Thunder Dragon divine ability. Emo Qinyun thought to himself, what he lacked now was a powerful divine ability. Now that he had the opportunity to obtain one, he couldn't miss it. He had to get as many as he could. Upon seeing Emo Qinyun's actions, someone who knew Emo Qinyun whispered to Emo Qinyun, "Young master, each person can only obtain one type of divine ability from the Thunder Dragon divine ability. Once you obtain one, you won't be able to obtain any more. So that's how it is." Upon hearing this person's words, Emo Qinyun revealed a look of understanding. He knew why everyone kept attacking him. After understanding the crux of the matter, Emo Qinyun didn't want to attack anymore. He smiled faintly and said, "Obtaining a pair of divine ability dragon horns is better than countless divine ability dragon scales. This trip to the Chaos Origin Thunder Dragon Palace can be considered complete." With that in mind, Emo Qinyun didn't plan to stay any longer and prepared to leave the Chaos Origin Thunder Dragon Palace. Seeing Emo Qinyun preparing to leave, Silver Lizard blocked Emo Qinyun's path and said, "Kid, I'll give you one last chance. Hand over the divine ability dragon horns and I can spare your life." Scram! Emo Qinyun didn't stop his footsteps. He shouted at Silver Lizard and coldly glanced at him. When Emo Qinyun glanced at Silver Lizard, light flashed in his left eye and a terrifying soul power burst out. Soul power blasted out from Emo Qinyun's left eye. It turned into a sharp needle and instantly blasted into Silver Lizard's sea of consciousness. Puff! After being hit by Emo Qinyun's soul attack, Silver Lizard's face immediately turned pale and he unconsciously spat out a mouthful of blood. Immediately, Silver Lizard looked at Emo Qinyun with intense fear in his eyes. Too terrifying! With just a glance, his sea of consciousness had almost collapsed and cracks had appeared in his sea of consciousness. Even an expert in the Dao Qing realm couldn't easily do such a powerful move. This kid is so strange. Where did he come from? Looking at Emo Qinyun in front of him, Silver Lizard's eyes flickered as if he wanted to see through Emo Qinyun. Unfortunately, no matter how hard he tried to recall, he didn't have any impression of Emo Qinyun. After hesitating for a while, Silver Lizard decided not to attack Emo Qinyun. Emo Qinyun gave him a terrifying feeling. Silver Lizard didn't attack Emo Qinyun, but it didn't mean that the others wouldn't attack Emo Qinyun. Emo Qinyun had only taken a few steps when his path was blocked by the crowd again. Scram or die. Seeing that his path was blocked, Emo Qinyun's face turned cold. He didn't want to waste time talking nonsense with these people. Upon hearing Emo Qinyun's words, a fellow with an octopus face smiled charmingly at Silver Lizard. "Sir Silver Lizard, if you aren't willing to make a move, then I won't hold back." Hearing this, Silver Lizard smiled faintly and nodded as a response. After Silver Lizard responded, he revealed a sinister smile. He wanted to let this guy test Emo Qinyun's background. "Kid, young Master Silver Lizard disdains to attack you, but I'm different." After exchanging a glance with Silver Lizard, the octopus-faced guy immediately waved his hand to the people around him and said, "Attack immediately and take down this kid. I want to see what makes him so arrogant." Hearing the octopus-faced guy's order, the others immediately responded and rushed towards Emo Qingyun. Since you insist on courting death, I can only help you. Seeing this guy's actions, Emo Qingyun shook his head indifferently and summoned a large group of monsters. These monsters were summoned and they were ordered by Emo Qingyun to attack the octopus-faced guy and the others. So many monsters, each of them above the Tao comprehension stage. They're good at controlling monsters. Could this guy be, you're right? He's the one who slaughtered the 3 palace masters and 1 palace master. It's said that even a powerful existence like King Devourer was defeated by him. What a pity. It's too late for you to know his identity. When the people found out about Emo Qingyun's identity, they were all horrified. Under the shocked gazes of the crowd, the demonic beast killed all those who blocked its way. Seeing this, young Master Silver Lizard's expression trembled and he felt a lingering fear. Fortunately, he did not attack. Otherwise, he would be the one lying on the ground. After killing those who blocked the way, Emo Qingyun did not stop and continued to walk forward. Seeing how powerful Emo Qingyun was, some people immediately made way and did not dare to be disrespectful to Emo Qingyun. Seeing everyone's reaction, he smiled in satisfaction and put away all the beasts. Then, Emo Qingyun slowly left the Chaos Thunder Dragon Palace under everyone's gaze. I've basically searched all the treasures in the heaven-devouring Dragon Whale Palace. It's time to leave. After coming out of the Chaos Thunder Dragon Palace, Missouri Qingyun pondered for a moment and did not want to stay any longer. Then, Emo Qingyun flew out of the heaven-devouring Dragon Whale Palace without stopping. The Chaos Thunder Dragon Palace was not close to the exit of the heaven-devouring Dragon Whale Palace. Emo Qingyun flew for more than 10 days before he arrived at the exit of the heaven-devouring Dragon Whale Palace. However, to Emo Qingyun's surprise, he saw a familiar figure when he was about to leave the heaven-devouring Dragon Whale Palace. You really won't leave me alone? Seeing this familiar figure in front of her, Emo Qingyun revealed a cold expression and sneered at her. That's right, the person in front of Emo Qingyun was King Devourer, who had chased him all the way. Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, King Devourer sneered and said with a cold expression, "Kid, I've never failed to get what I want. You can't escape from me." Haha, I don't think so. Chapter 1711. End it? The sky-devouring mermaid queen smiled disdainfully. She did not take Emo Qingyun seriously at all. She curled her lips and said, "Boy, you are so confident now. If I am not wrong, your cultivation has improved a lot recently." You guessed it right. Emo Qingyun didn't deny it. A faint smile appeared on his face as he said, "I was just worried that I wouldn't be able to find anyone to practice on when I make a breakthrough in my cultivation. Your appearance is truly wonderful." King Devourer sneered and was not happy with Emo Qingyun's disrespect. But if one observed closely, one could see that King Devourer's expression was much more serious. It seemed that even though Emo Qingyun's cultivation level was not high, he still gave her a lot of pressure. Emo Qingyun saw the change in King Devourer's behavior, but he did not want to waste time talking to her. Emo Qingyun's figure flashed and he appeared before King Devourer. He threw a punch at King Devourer. Boom, 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 Emo Qingyun punched out, immediately erupting with a terrifying might, shaking the space to the point of shattering. A dazzling golden light surrounded Emo Qingyun's fist. Like a tiger, it pounced on King Devourer. The saintly aura of destruction. Seeing the power of Emo Qingyun's punch, King Devourer's face trembled and the way she looked at Emo Qingyun changed. In just a few days, not only did Emo Qingyun understand the power of Tao, he gained another saintly aura. This situation was too sudden, and she was not prepared for it at all. However, King Devourer was a powerhouse from before the Antiquity Age. She could handle it very well. You really have improved a lot. No wonder you are so arrogant this time. After calming the shock in her heart, a mocking expression gradually appeared on the heaven-devouring mermaid queen's face. She said, however, with just this level, it is far from enough to fight with me. King Devourer waved her hand and a large amount of water vapor gathered in front of her, forming a shimmering shield. Bang! Emo Qingyun's fist landed on the shield, and a loud sound immediately erupted, causing the shield to shake unceasingly. The shield shook violently for a while, and then slowly returned to normal, blocking Emo Qingyun's punch. Young man, your punch is not bad, but its power is only equivalent to that of the path cultivation stage. After blocking Emo Qingyun's punch, King Devourer smiled faintly and looked at Emo Qingyun with even more disdain. Presumably, in her opinion, Emo Qingyun's strength alone was not enough to cause her any harm. Hearing King Devourer's words, Emo Qingyun smiled faintly and did not take her words to heart. After his punch failed, Emo Qingyun's attack did not stop. Once again, he blasted towards King Devourer. Then, a very strange scene slowly appeared. Emo Qingyun, who was only in the Golden Immortal stage, actually suppressed King Devourer, who was at the peak of the Daoqing stage, into a passive situation. Of course, although Emo Qingyun's attack was fierce, it could not cause any harm to King Devourer. During the fight between Emo Qingyun and King Devourer was always at ease, as if he was playing with Emo Qingyun. After a while, King Devourer seemed to have lost his patience. His face gradually turned cold and he said, "Young man, I've played enough with you. It's time to end the fight." I see flame Milky Way palm. King Devourer blasted out his palm. Suddenly, his body emitted a starry light and an aura that could destroy heaven and earth erupted. At the same time, the dazzling starry light slowly condensed into a palm print. When the palm print formed, a destructive force came crashing towards Emo Qingyun. So strong! Seeing King Devourer's palm, Emo Qingyun's face twitched and a sense of shock rose in his heart. King Devourer's strength recovered really quickly. In just a few days, his moves had changed drastically. Although Emo Qingyun's progress was fast, compared to her, there was still a gap. Demon Fist shattering the Milky Way. Although King Devourer's palm was powerful, Emo Qingyun did not wait for death. He immediately punched forward. A terrifying demonic force erupted from Emo Qingyun's body and formed a huge fist. A huge fist shadow was formed and flew towards the palm print, colliding violently with it. Crack, 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 under the attack of the palm print, the fist shadow was instantly defeated and quickly dissipated in midair. After the palm print dispersed the fist shadow, its attack power did not diminish and continued to bombard Emo Qingyun. Soon after, the palm print hit Emo Qingyun and sent Emo Qingyun flying. After being hit by King Devourer's palm, a terrifying palm force ravaged Emo Qingyun's body. Soon, spiderweb-like wounds appeared on Emo Qingyun's body. What a terrifying palm force! Seeing the injuries on his body, Emo Qingyun was shocked. He was caught off guard by this turn of events. It should be known that the strength of his body was comparable to a sage-level weapon. Even so, he was still blasted apart by King Devourer's palm. It was clear how terrifying King Devourer's palm was. While Emo Qingyun was still in shock, the power of the Genesis blood in his body was also stimulated by his wounds. Under the power of the Genesis blood, his wounds were immediately healed and began to heal little by little. This kid's body is terrifying. After being hit by my Icefire Galaxy palm, he didn't suffer any serious injuries. Seeing Emo Qingyun in such a state, King Devourer was even more shocked. She was well aware of the power of her palm. Under her palm, even a supreme-grade immortal armor would be smashed into smithereens. Emo Qingyun had taken her palm head-on, yet he had only suffered a minor injury. This was far too abnormal. After a brief moment of shock, King Devourer's face darkened and the aura she exuded became even colder. Kid, it seems that I have underestimated you. In this case, I can't let you grow. At this moment, King Devourer felt a strong threat from Mo Qingyun. She felt that with Mo Qingyun's terrifying talent, if she couldn't get rid of him as soon as possible, he would be a disaster for her in the future. Sorry, I'm afraid you won't have the chance. After fighting with King Devourer, Mo Qingyun understood his own strength. It was rare for him to fight with her again. From King Devourer's attack, although she was at the peak of the Daoqing stage, her strength was comparable to a 9 Heavens Xian immortal. Mo Qingyun's real combat strength now should be at the Daoqing stage. There was still a big gap between him and King Devourer. In this case, if he continued to fight with King Devourer, wouldn't he be asking for trouble? What a joke, you! Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, King Devourer immediately laughed and mocked Mo Qingyun. However, before she could finish her words, her smile froze. Next to Mo Qingyun, there was a monkey holding a long stick, emitting a terrifying aura. 9 Heavens Xian Immortal, Level 3. Sensing the monkey's aura, King Devourer was so shocked that she started to tremble. There were 9 levels in the 9 Heavens Xian Immortal realm. The difference in strength between each level was as huge as one level. Her real combat strength was only half a step away from the 9 Heavens Xian Immortal realm, Level 1. She was definitely no match for this monkey. No. Impossible. How could you have gained the recognition of such a powerhouse? Seeing the 6-eared macaque next to Mo Qingyun, King Devourer was agitated. She couldn't accept this situation. In her previous pursuit, the 6-eared macaque had never appeared before. Therefore, she was sure that the appearance of the 6-eared macaque next to Mo Qingyun was because of Mo Qingyun's fortuitous encounter. Thinking of Mo Qingyun's fortuitous encounter, King Devourer wanted to vomit blood. This was too much. Everyone came to the Dragon Whale Palace, but she didn't gain anything. Mo Qingyun, on the other hand, kept on having fortuitous encounters. It was obvious that God had given Mo Qingyun a cheat. Mo Qingyun didn't care about King Devourer's reaction. He said coldly, "King Devourer, under your pressure, my cultivation improved by leaps and bounds. To show my gratitude, I'll give you a chance to live." King Devourer's eyes flashed with anticipation. She didn't want to die. She had just reincarnated. If she was killed so soon, she wouldn't be satisfied. However, she also didn't believe that Mo Qingyun would be so kind as to let her go despite their past enmity. Looking at the silent King Devourer, Mo Qingyun smiled and said, "I'll give you a choice. If you're willing to submit to me like the 6-eared macaque, I can spare your life." "Submit to you?" "Submit to him." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the sky-devouring mermaid queen was shocked. She stared at Mo Qingyun with wide eyes. She wasn't sure if she was shocked by Mo Qingyun's request,